the entrepreneurs and business startups that are here today. Welcome, feel free to engage. And also, may I also welcome and thank all the panelists that are here today to lead us in these discussions. May I also thank the moderators and acknowledge them who are here to lead us in these discussions on this important topic that we are engaging on today. I think we also have members of the media that are here today. We also like to appreciate them and welcome them in this session. And we would like also to acknowledge even all the stakeholders that are here. We also invited representatives of communities, the society, so that they can be part of this important discussion, so that they are not left behind. We thank them for that. May I also thank our partner, Royal Science Technology Park, who is our partner in this business seminar. Thank you so much for partnering with us and working with us to coming up with this important business seminar. Thank you very much. And the colleagues, I saw them behind there. I think you will see them as we continue to discuss. We have also have other partner parastatals who are here, organization. We acknowledge them in this session. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. To manage better the time, may I quickly get into the program itself by requesting His Honorable the Mayor, Honorable G. Dlamini, to come up front to just welcome us in his city. Thank you.
Program Director, His Lordship, the Mayor of the Tsapa Town Council, Honorable Councillors present, the Manzini Acting CEO and their municipality and other municipality CEOs and Directors of businesses, President and Director of ALGA, Alama Executive, seminar panelists and moderators, entrepreneurs and business representatives, officials from municipalities, government, and parastatals, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and I welcome you to the city of Manzini, a city of innovation, accountability, as our value says. I take this a great pleasure to be here today and to actually be part and make remarks in this significant and exciting Manzini City Business Seminar. As a municipality, we are pleased to be facilitating this event-oriented engagement whereby different stakeholders will be enhancing and sharing and exchanging knowledge, ideas, and the importance of embracing information communications technology in our different businesses, organization, and country at large. As a city, we are committed and advocate for leveraging on ICT as an enabler and solution to create competitive business environment, attract investment, and improve service delivery turnaround times for customers and citizens. Our understanding is that the more business and companies adopt and implement ICT solutions, we will be able to accelerate business growth through digital transformation, which can benefit customers and our citizens at large. To us all, the Eswatini International Trade Fair of 2024 gives us the advantage and opportunity to engage in digital transformation agenda and experiences of adopting and implementing ICT solutions for improved customer service, business growth, and stimulating economic growth. As a municipality, we understand that we have a role to play in supporting SMEs, businesses, startups, entrepreneurs, large entities and enterprises to thrive and create more job opportunities, which in turn contribute to our local economic growth. I'm looking forward to the engagement amongst the great panelists and the energetic audience present here today, whereby developmental solutions will be ignited. Program Director, this is one of the many engagements that we have with many different stakeholders in the city, including our residents, whereby we pursue an inclusive public participation development model, which we believe advances the sustainability and development agenda as guided by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Program Director, I am passionate about business. Hence, I can talk the whole day. But let me conclude with welcoming you all in the city of Manzini and into this important business seminar. I wish you a fruitful, positive deliberations that are prosperous and are solutionally driven as we share more on this business day to the advancement of the ICT adoption agenda while promoting business and economic growth. I thank you. May you find time to share. God bless you all. Director, bengisitan dabat ning no tangalan. Kasi si Shaile nang program director dan. Let's have it more lively. Can we give him another hand, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Lordship, the Mayor. We really appreciate such great remarks that you've just shared with us and welcomed us. Yeah. And thank you for paying me before I do the job. I hope I will do well. Thank you so much. Colleagues and dear stakeholders, I just forgot to acknowledge my CEOs. I think I've just lost my, my paycheck. May I respectfully acknowledge Mr. Zweli Mapanga, the acting CEO. I don't know where he is, if it is here already. Mr. Zweli Mapanga, yes. Welcome, sir. Thank you. That's my acting CEO today. And also, I would like to acknowledge the substantive CEO in absentia. She said she'll be following online because we are streaming this event. I know she's following the event. I would like to acknowledge and appreciate her for supporting this initiative and also the role she played while we were preparing for this event. I would like to appreciate that for all. And then quickly, I would like to just to a little bit of making maybe a few remarks in terms of this seminar. This seminar is part of our program, Local Economic Development Program, where we are looking at advancing, sorry, whereby we look at advancing local economic development from the local space, from the community-based level. It's a bottom-up approach that we are using, whereby we're engaging with business people and also SMEs, entrepreneurs, business startups, and come up with business support initiatives to say how can they contribute to the national economic development of the country. This program is a concept that mainly supports national government, but on the ground. So through this program, inside the program, we have different categories of businesses. We have the SMEs, we have the entrepreneurs, we have the small business startup, the youth startups that we are supporting in the city. In the cities, in fact, because I'm talking for all the towns, what they are doing, program of local economic development program. So through this program, we also have programs for the big businesses where we deal with them in different forums. So here today, but we've tried to mix all the businesses from the SMEs to the higher level of businesses to discuss the issue of technology because it is so inclusive in many businesses. There's no business that can thrive without adopting or embracing ICT solutions. So I think the main purpose here today, the seminar was conceptualized in a way to create a unique platform where different stakeholders, because today we are meeting as multiple different stakeholders here today, coming from different backgrounds, running different type of businesses, but we are united to discuss the issue of ICT solutions on how can we leverage on it to accelerate business growth. So this platform, we hope it will create that value to stakeholders and all, even government, the government side of things, so that we can all be proactive as a country and as different stakeholders on this ICT wave. Because if we are not, this wave is going to swallow us as organizations, as businesses. We've seen some businesses being swallowed by this ICT and innovation. So stale businesses does not survive in this economy in this day. So it is in that aspect that we conceptualize this seminar and also partnered with so many different organizations and also practitioners who come from different sectors of the industry, of the economy of the country, and also services. We have witnessed and learned on how different countries have effectively been proactive in better managing the use of ICTs in their benefit and to grow their businesses, to better service the citizens or the customers or the society. I think we've got many countries that we can cite, but the one that is well documented and discussed maybe is the USA, whereby they came up with this region, the Silicon Valley region, which is a high-tech hub, whereby it is the main contributor to the economic development of the San Francisco state. I think the issue of Silicon Valley has been studied by many countries, which has copied it to different regions of the world and implemented it, because it is a viable model that they've seen that it is working, even though it has really, really advanced now. One of the aspects that is not mostly discussed in the issue of Silicon Valley, we know it from the series that it has generated now. That's a new economy that has come out of Silicon Valley. But there are issues of even patenting the companies there. It's another sector of a business, which in the country, I'm not sure where we are, but I hope the Minister of Commerce can share with us where are we in the issue of IPs and patenting, because also it brought in the legal side of things to say how can this be leveraged on to create new jobs. We also, the aspect I wanted to highlight in the Silicon Valley story is that usually the role of the US government is always downplayed on the Silicon Valley story. In particular, the US Army Research Center at the time, when it started, it played a key role working with the universities and all the likes to also sort of create the enabling environment, but be also very participative and deliberate, rather than saying to pursue the neoclassical economic theories of saying the state should stay out of the market. But they created the market through supporting these initiatives. I think if you go through the well-documented story of Silicon Valley, you'll be amazed how much the US government played there. Some of these big high-tech corporations today, they still owe the US government, but the US government, I believe, it benefited from the economic growth after enabling these high-tech companies. So if you have a region like Silicon Valley, in a country like Swatini, in a smaller aspect of it, but you can create so many jobs in the local space. This model has been taken by all the countries, in particular the Far East Asia. We've seen Taiwan. We're learning and witnessing what the Republic of China in Taiwan is doing through its Smart Taiwan Vision 2030, whereby the government is playing a key role in trying to push on digitizing the entire of Taiwan, which is something that we can learn, but it starts with the discussion and bringing different stakeholders like us today here to discuss these issues. I mean, Taiwan is well known. I think it's ranked to top 10 in the most innovative and technological countries in the world. I think we know there's this favorite company that I like in Taiwan, Foxconn Electronics, uh, which is the company that manufactures the Apple product, the hardware part. So it's assembled in Taiwan and shipped to the US. So it's an interesting story if you go to read all those stories to see that as a country we can learn from these examples. Coming to Eswatini, it is in that light that we can come to appreciate the vision and the wisdom of His Majesty the King on the establishment of institutions like the Royal Science Technology Park. We really appreciate that because we see the model, where is it coming from and where is it going. We really appreciate that because with RSTP, we see that as a country, we will be able to create the knowledge-based economy, which is driven through exploring science, technology, research, and innovation. So we're looking forward to seeing RSTP growing and supporting all of us in the country with the continued great work that they already started doing. So we really appreciate that. We're happy to be having institutions like ESICOM, the Communication Commission also, which is playing a key role in growing the industry in the country. I know that they are creating the market so that it can be competitive for all, and also protecting the consumers at the same time, and also looking that the governance part of these ICT solutions are not harmful to the society. We really appreciate them for that, and we can also say we appreciate their role they play, that referring role. We're hoping we will get the fairness for all stakeholders to benefit in this economy. We appreciate also national government through the establishment of the e-government unit, which has done tremendous jobs, we understand. I think they will share with us. I'm not much privy, but I know certain things that I've used from national government through this initiative of e-government. I think it is important that while we're doing the e-government, we're adopting all these ICTs, we don't leave behind the society, because all this, that's what we are doing. We're doing it for our customers and the society. So the question here today is how far or how on par are we with the society we are trying to serve with the technologies? I was discussing with a colleague from one of the banks, discussing the issue of innovation and technology, to say we are seeing these institutions are innovating so much, but we're still seeing customers coming to the banks to come to access the services. Why? So it's possible that maybe the society is being left behind as we continue investing on these ICT solutions. So it is in that respect that today we wish to understand better and see where we are behind or we're leaving any other stakeholders behind, because we want to be an inclusive society where we all benefit from these ICT solutions that we are coming up with. So dear stakeholders, I just wanted to contextualize these discussions along that part, but we have invited panelists here today who I think they are better placed to guide us on these discussions, to see that we benefit as the different stakeholders, and also stakeholders here will be given opportunity to ask questions or clarities that they may want to ask from the different panelists here today, who will be sharing knowledge and experiences, more especially the experiences, because theory and practice, it's always something else. You can get it on theory, but if you haven't practiced it on the ground, it's different. So when you practice it, you find that it doesn't go as you thought. So today, but we'll be getting that in a form of sort of a masterclass type of in knowledge sharing. So with that said, I would like to maybe commence our first session, which is about adoption and use of ICT solutions and innovation by government and government agencies to improve service delivery, support entrepreneurship, business growth, and economic growth. So we've got a panel here that will come up front. We'll request them to come up front, and then there will be a moderator that will be guiding the discussions, and then before their conclusion, there will also be an opening of a space whereby different stakeholders here can pose questions and understand better on the discussions. that we have here today. So I will start by maybe inviting our moderator for this session, Mr. Vulindlela Simelane, the CEO of UNESCO Foundation. There, up there, we all know our UNESCO, University of Eswatini. He is driving the revival and the growth of the UNESCO Foundation there. We know that the foundation has a great mandate to support the university. All that responsibility is on him. He's been there with the institution for quite a number of years. And I think he will be of value to us here today, leading the discussion on the adoption and use of ICT solutions innovation in the country. So may I invite Mr. Vulindlela Simelane, the CEO, to come up front. I think there's a microphone for the moderator. I think on the other side, I would ask the team to be closer because I'm not sure the arrangements exactly. I'm just alone here. I'm even scared. Where are the team members? Because I think you may sit, Mr. Simelane. Yeah, as I'm saying, I'm alone. I can see now. Not even one of this big team is here. Yes, please. I think we need assistance this side on the arrangements. Yes, thank you, Mr. Simelane. I think we welcome you, and we know the great work that you have done with the UNESCO Foundation. We have seen the revival of the foundation and the growth, the trajectory that is taking now, and you are looking forward to having this institution back to its high performance level. And also, we wish you all the best in driving that institution and leading it back, because we still have young people who still want to go to our university locally. I think currently we've got so many our young people going outside the country for many reasons, but I think your role is key there at the foundation. I think at this point, we would like to invite the panelists. Today, maybe I will start with Mrs. Zandile Ngala Ntembo from UNDP. I think she will be joining us. Mrs. Zandile is a professional, has a professional experience in strategic planning and program development. She works for UNDP, and she's got a master's and MPhil from Stellenbosch, and also an MBA from Stellenbosch. So Zandile has done a great work for UNDP in many aspects in terms of the program development and implementation. Welcome, Zandile. We are happy to have you today here for the discussions. I don't know, you'll guide us on how are you going to work with Mangaliso on the discussion. I think you will guide us. We will introduce Mangaliso when he comes through. We have Miss Winnie Dlamini. Is Winnie here? She's out. Okay, maybe we may invite Vusani Simelane from Eswatini Water Corporation Services as one of our panel members here today. Thank you for the correction. Oh yes, Mr. Simelane here from EWSC. His role is his customer strategy and marketing. He's looking at strategy, customer strategy and marketing at EWC. So we think we're happy to have him here because he's on touch with the issue of customers and also to share with us on the technology aspect on how far have they gone on leveraging on the technology. Mr. Simelane here has a bachelor's degree in marketing and an MBA to advance this progress. I forgot to highlight, Mr. Mngoni, your Master of Business Administration. You've got so many qualifications. So I forgot to mention that because they gave us I got your bio here. And then also, I haven't seen, are we, okay, I think we've still got two. I think we've got, I don't know if this thing is complete here. Just a moment, colleagues. From e-government unit, I didn't see Mr. Hlophe. He's here. Oh, I haven't seen him. Okay, from e-government unit, from the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, may I invite Mr. Bekisisa Hlophe to join us on the panel, who will be sharing with us on the great work that is being done there at Ministry of ICT through the e-government unit and government at large. He's a specialist in data science. Issues of data, when you talk technology, are very, very key. So I think he will assist us in those discussions. He also has a master's in electrical engineering and computer science. So I was talking about Taiwan, he didn't tell me, but hey, I know that place. I've been there, I've been staying there. So welcome, Mr. Hlophe. We're happy to have you in our discussion. I think from RSTP, I haven't seen Mr. Sithole. I was hoping to, oh, he's here. Yes. Yeah, I think he's here with us now. I'm happy because I was trying to find him when I came through here. Welcome, Mr. Sithole. He's a senior lecturer in Advanced School of Technology at the Royal Science Technology Park. He will be sharing with us the great work that is being done there at RSTP, in particular on the issue of ICT solutions being developed there, and also the incubation program that they have at RSTP. Mr. Stoll is a software engineer, lecturer, and also he's a software developer at the Royal Science Technology Park. He's got a master's in electrical engineering and computer science and certifications in Scrum. Quite a lot of qualification, dear stakeholders. We can take the whole day, and we appreciate you, Mr. Stoll. I think is it our panel complete, colleagues? Again, I'm alone. The team is not here. I'm trying to align myself. Yes, our panel looks to be complete, dear stakeholders, and I think on this part, it's where I invite or I hand over to Mr. Vulisimelane, who will start by introducing himself and maybe sharing with us the great work that he's doing there at the foundation a little bit, and then he will lead the discussions for this panel. So yes, as I was saying, dear stakeholders, may I hand over to Mr. Vulisimelane to lead these discussions, and we hope you will start with sharing with us little bit of your experiences also at the university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Program Director. Your Honorable Lordship, the Mayor, I hope I've said that salutation properly. Honorable Councillors, senior government officials, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Thank you, Program Director, for the privilege and honor to be here today and moderate the session. I took note of a few things that have been said by those who spoke before us. It's very unusual to be sitting. I'm always standing when speaking. But the mayor said he wants us to be jovial after praying for us. So that helped to eliminate a bit of my anxiety today. What can I say? I'm from the university, and as Mr. Dlamini has said, our role is to spearhead the transformation of the university and the turnaround. It's a national university, an institution, and we believe that through this model of a multi-sectoral approach, where we leverage individual excellence to achieve, collective strength, we can be highly successful as a country. And I think today we're just here to, in the spirit of, collectivism, and we really appreciate to be here. And my role is a simple one. It's just to lead the session. And good morning also to my fellow, not to the panelists, I'm not the panelist, to my counterparts here, and most of them are engineers. So we'll be having a discussion on the session on the adoption and use of ICT solutions and innovation by government and government agencies to improve service delivery, support entrepreneurship, business and economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe we can just maybe get a sense from the Royal Science and Technology Park colleague. They said they gave him a big introduction, a very big introduction. Maybe he can share with us what RSTP's point of view is on promoting the use of ICTs in national government and parastatals. Just before you respond to that question, sir, I just want to say that as a University of Eswatini, we enjoy a strong collaborative partnership with the Royal Science and Technology Park. And when the program director was speaking about the Silicon Valley kind of environment or ecosystem, we are also pursuing the same model at the university, the corporate innovation ecosystem approach, which is talking about the connectivity of internal and external stakeholders. So maybe you can just bring us up to speed, sir.
A very good morning to everyone. As I've been introduced, my name is Lucky Stole. I'm an educator and one of the employees from RSTP. So I think RSTP, one thing that I could say about it is the mandate that it has been given is very, very huge, especially to drive economic development in the country. So there are obviously several units that we have, and one of them is our National Data Center that currently supports government in terms of all services that our government currently offers to the public. So when it comes to probably customer service delivery, RSTP in that aspect facilitates the use of ICT solutions. So currently the Minister of ICT has declared that we are supposed to have what is called government at your hand. So that means now people or the public do not have to go and queue for services in the different offices that we have in the country. So at the palm of your hand, you should be able to access all the services that one should actually access. Imagine in our days, or probably in the past, where you would have to wake up maybe at 4 a.m. just to queue for a service that you can get probably in 5 minutes just by using your cell phone. So RSTP is facilitating that, and there's a team of developers that is working on ensuring that all the services that government should provide to the public would be accessible over the cell phone. Currently, and when you go to our stand, they will probably show you one of the application demos that they have, that you can now check the status of your passport just by going to our application. So over the past few years, we have been using the USSD codes where you will punch in the star what, right? So, but looking at that approach, yes, it's good, but it doesn't provide the user experience. That means for the elderly, it's very, very hard to even interact. You have to memorize to say, oh, it's easy for the youngs because they can memorize to say, if I type star what, star what, then I will get the service that I require. But we want everything to be easily accessible. And what the best practices now in terms of even the IT solutions is that we want the interactivity with the end user to be even more. That means even the solution must be customizable. We look at what are your interests as an end user. And you find that even the IT solutions, they will target exactly to what you want. We want you to spend little or lesser time to get the service that you want. And apart from that, we do also have the business incubator. As probably they have rightly said that we have seen the Silicon Valley working with the universities. So our ecosystem has the business incubator that also translates these ideas into businesses, that therefore driving our economic growth, as well as also we do have a school. We do have a school within RSTP. Most of the time people are not aware that we have a school there. And our school is not competing with the universities that we currently have, but it's sort of like to say, we are complementing, we are identifying the gaps, especially because when we read reports, one of the reports talks about the national skills gap in the country. So we offer a specialized program in cybersecurity. Now you can go at RSTP, you can enroll for cybersecurity. It's not something that we are yet to do. We have graduates with cybersecurity. We have software engineers. And our currently, because we offer advanced diplomas, they are sort of like unique because the students are industry ready. That's why when they graduate or during our programs, it is easy for them to start probably doing something that is tangible, offering back to the society all the skills that they would have learned. I think, moderator, I would stop here for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stole, for giving us that comprehensive insight into what the Royal Science and Technology Park is doing to support, a technology-driven economy and the use of ICTs. And I just noted that you highlighted the fact that, the entrepreneurs in the advanced school of, IT and the business incubator, they are business ready. And I just want to also note that there is something that is critically important. The employability of our graduates is an important question that we are currently facing even at the university, and how this supports productivity, reducing the learning curve. And your Lordship, Honorable Mayor, you spoke about improving our business turnaround times, I think, which is an important aspect, especially for the performance of business. And thank you for that. We will revert back to that part of the discussion from an RSTP point of view. Maybe you can just give a chance to Mr. Hlope to let us know what strides have been made by the Ministry of ICT e-Government Unit in terms of promoting the use of ICT in service delivery. And please don't forget the part of supporting entrepreneurship as per our theme and economic growth. Singabe sisesisho the service delivery kuphela, but also supporting entrepreneurship and businesses. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, moderator. May I take this opportunity to greet the mayor. I think you is addressed the Lordship, Honorable the Mayor. Thank you, moderator. Well, the e-government unit is established to accelerate the digitalization of government business the government businesses, the services that government is offering. we know that most of the services are found in the offices, and most of the services are still traditional, which means maybe you have to fill in forms physically, things like that. So the e-government unit was established to assist, first and foremost, government to digitalize her services. And then by so doing, a government is then decentralizing her services to the citizenry and the businesses alike. So I think all this time there has been improvements that we see coming up from government. It is important to say that the way that our government is structured, we have the different ministries who are the ones that know the businesses or the services that they are dealing with. So it becomes important that the one who is offering the service drives the digitalization, or should I say, seeing the need from the public of the service that they offer, would then probably approach us as the ministry for assistance in how they can do the digitalization. And then the e-government unit is then there to do the collaboration, obviously with the knowledge of the technologies that are available at the time, and then working with our implementers, and the biggest implementer for government in developing solutions and in using the technologies that are there is RSTP. Well, there are others that specialize in what they do. Like we have ESCOM, we have EPTC, and others. So we then approach these entities to do the development for government. So I think that background is important to give. However, in terms of tangible solutions, one may not be able to list them all, but I also do note that in your question, you said we should also touch on business and entrepreneurship. So I can say that we have done a number of initiatives in terms of digitalization. In the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, in the Prime Minister's office and the Cabinet, we have what we call the e-Cabinet system, where we now see the Cabinet not using papers for whatever that is brought before them. There's a system that mends all that, approving things and doing most of their work. They are able to use this system, the e-Cabinet system, to do their work. And that is the model that we want the whole of government to follow as they offer, as they do their work. In the Deputy Prime Minister's office, we all know that yesterday or before, when dispersing the grants, there used to be long lines. But today, we now know that you can access that service through having the money or the grant deposited in their banks, in their bank accounts, and also through mobile money. And that is digitization of the process, the business process. There are many others. Let me go to the ministry. Okay, maybe it's important to mention the Ministry of Tourism. This ministry is available mostly in the social media pages. You know, we do see it posting. There's a lot of things and a lot of activity that is happening there. Now that presents an opportunity. You know, when this happens, it presents an opportunity for entrepreneurs who are skilled in IT to look at what they can do, you know, in terms of assisting the visibility and also in terms of assisting the customer experiences when it comes to tourism. So there's a number of things that are happening there. We are past the stage where, in order to know, kutsi kodwa kusasa iweather itabe injani, kufuna ngaphethelwa tindzaba. I have to listen to the news, you know, so that those tfola simo selitulu. You see, we are past that state now. They are able to leverage on the social media and post simo selitulu. That is digitalization, and there's a lot of opportunities there that can be used. You know, there's also a number of things that they do, and that we have assisted them in doing in the Ministry of Tourism. A lot of opportunities also in the Ministry of Health. I think they have a system there that's called the client management system. You know, it's an integrated system. You don't need to be visiting, you know, or be carrying your medical history when you go to the health facilities now. Whichever health facility that you go to, a private or public, the system is able to capture the information. Kungendeki lokuthi hey uyathi namhlanje ngiye kule sethu sibhedlela noma kule yethu clinic banginikete nje amaphilisi ePanado kuphela sengivukele eMbabane ngathi le Mbabane bayasitana na ufike eMbabane batakubona ukuthi wo idolo bowusespeak so icedzileni kodwa le medication yasespeak so lambabane. You see, that's capping a number of inefficiencies that may have been there yesterday. The distribution and the availability of the medication itself, you know. Nembabane bafike bakunikete yona iPanado kanti speak uyitfolile iPanado uyabona. So kunyenti lokwentekako lapho. Manye lama services lengawachaza ngeke ngihambe by ministry kodwa ngiye Ministry of Commerce. Sithi in the Ministry of Commerce, for businesses, you are now able to check and reserve a company name if you want to establish a company. You may find ukuthi ufuna ukudibita ngokuthi ungihlophela omuhle kanti khona hlophela omuhle uyayibona into lenjalo. So you can be able to use a platform that is available to search for a company if it does exist, and if you are interested in reserving that company a name, you are able to do that online. There's no need to visit them physically to do that. You can pay your trading licenses online. You can pay your liquor licenses online. So these are initiatives that are there to assist businesses, you know, in the customer experience and in making our services be available. Let me also maybe, as the last amongst the list that we have, touch on the availability of the star 468 hash USSD mobile payment and tracking platform. My colleague here from RSTP did touch on that one and did share on what they are doing at the moment in order to modernize even that one. But at e-government, it is our concern that as we digitalize, we know our sphere in Eswatini. It is not everybody that has a smartphone that will access an app. That's very critical to us and the availability of the services, of government services to the whole nation. So we are not going to leave behind Star 468 or such services because nangalo bombombo lomvlomzana usenga badala le service that they need through momo angabambi lilayini uyabona angagibela zawufika e-treasury kuzakhona kubhadala. Now this is a platform that is modeling what he referred to when he said government in your hand. What we have now that is existing is the platform Star 468 hash. Yes, it may have challenges. The challenges that are there, it's a platform for me to just highlight so that Emaswati understand. This was a pilot concept. It was a concept that was being piloted at Kalen because of the concern that we had. And wabonakala ukuthi iyasebenta le concept. And then we started adding services. Ganzi lomthwalo nalama service ahulumende manyenti. Sekubuya ekhama le platform le khona nyalo. So as government, we are working hard to stabilize or build an architecture that is going to be robust for seamless experience as we make use or access the services that are there. Just to mention, Gutsibuleya platform, you will find services from Home Affairs. Now and again, as businesses, you would want to travel, you would want to apply for a passport, you want to apply for umvana a birth certificate, death certificate, all these things, civil registry services. You can be able to use this platform at the comfort of your home when it comes to the payment aspect of it. Yes, maybe currently it is not an end-to-end kind of experience, but we are also working on that, on the strategy that is available now, that is obtaining now, the government in your hand strategy, to have the front end to the back end experience without or with limited intervention from the clients. So, motor vehicle license disc renewals, you are able to do that in this platform. Thank you so much, moderator. I will answer some of your questions. There's a lot that I can say, but maybe let me stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mapeng. Obviously, Mr. Hlope will leave nothing to chance. And we also understand that you are speaking on behalf of all of government, and government is the biggest business in the country, so we understand. And we also understand the fact that the role of government is to create a conducive environment for businesses to flourish, for the economy to grow and develop. So we appreciate the many examples you have given us on decentralization, on government in your hand, and all of the various line ministries and how you're working through, agencies such as CCOM and Real Science and Technology Park to achieve your mandate and to deliver on it. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Mr. Innocent Mkombe here. He is from Eswatini Water Services Corporation. Maybe it would be interesting to hear what experience they've had as EWC or Mr. Simelane, as it were, who can tell us more about the introduction of the software application. We know many businesses are moving towards being platform-based businesses, maybe what experiences and challenges. And I just want to say that we are mindful of the time. We started a bit late. I think this session was supposed to end at 10 o'clock. So I want to request my fellow panelists to be concise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mnguni, for the opportunity. Greetings to the fellow panelists and the audience we have. I've got two names, so I'll clarify. I'm Vusani Smelane, not Mr. Mkombe, representing EWSC. I think they've said much ground in terms of the landscape of ICT in the country as a whole. I'll be direct for EWSC. I think we have leveraged on this space a lot, and if you follow us on our socials and everywhere we are, we try to set the trend in terms of utilities in the country and how people can actually benefit from the use of ICT and incorporating such innovations in the business. I think I'd like to present EWSC case maybe on 4 points. Firstly, I would say the thing that we would appreciate about technology is that it needs to be packed with strategy for it to be meaningful and for it to be well-resourced and then easy to be measured. So if you pack it well with your strategy so that it gives a solution to the business and then translate that solution to give effectiveness or a better experience into our customers. So I'd say that's the view that we take when we're actually dealing with innovation. So in the 4 points I would like to present this in is that firstly it should be data insights that tells a business what you want to do. There's too many innovations that are happening out there. There's too many platforms that are there, but they need to be data-driven so that you can decide which one should I take and why should I take and what solutions is it going to bring to me. We'll make a simple example with the EWSC app that I think most of us know. So the business had to sit down, look at the landscape to see what are the pain points of the organization. Then that speaks to data. What troubles customers? That speaks to your trends and feedback that you get to customers. Then you say, what operational efficiencies can we gain as a business if we try to come up with an innovative solution? Then using those data trends and those pillars, to mention a few, you then make a decision to say, which innovation am I introducing at this time? So for the app, as an example, we will look at the number of walk-ins that come to our service centers. We will look at the reasons why these people actually visit us. And to make an example, you would find that most of the people that visit us are people who are coming to pay. A fellow colleague from RSTP has talked about how easy it is to pay from the phone. Same with Mr. Lopez also saying the same thing to say how easy can it be to pay over the phone. Then you'd see that if I've got so much people who are coming to me to pay, then if I give this solution, it's going to be meaningful to the customer. At the same time, it's going to enhance my operational efficiencies. Then it gives you that leeway and the decision to say, I can go into this innovation. So I think that is one part. And then looking into it, I'm going in terms of what then will you look at in terms of what benefits you as an organization. You are actually looking at enhanced customer experience to say, if I give this to the customer, what is there for the customer? What are they benefiting out of this? And then you definitely need to have measures for it to highlight a few. You then want to see how satisfied these people are in using this app, how efficient is it, so that at the end of the day, you are able to measure your return on investment on it. But I'd say in the space of utilities and EWSC especially, moving into technology, we're seeing a lot of return on investment in terms of how people are taking up our products and how that enhances issues as accessibility. We're a utility company that operates 24 hours, as all of us would know. So you would want to have us accessible at 1 a.m. You want to have us accessible at 5 at any time. So going technology, leveraging on technology actually helps us then to also increase in terms of accessibility dimension for customers. So I think there's a lot we can unpack as benefits, but at a high level, an introduction of the technological space, I think I would highlight those few, and then we'll take the questions that will come.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Simelane, for your contribution on the EWSC experience. They recently launched a mobile application, or a software application.
There's a chatbot that is in the market, which is serving our customers through AI in terms of responding to them on WhatsApp.
Now he's marketing. They I'll also do my marketing. But thank you, I appreciate that EWC is a national organization and it services the whole country. And one would be interested to just, maybe even thinking about the people that are in the rural areas. Maybe is there some work that is being done with internet service providers, to strengthen access to ICT even in remote areas? Because when we talk about the use of a software app, I'm thinking about somebody who probably doesn't have a smartphone, who is in, far away in distant lands. I don't want to be biased and mention my home area, but I'm just thinking, what is the uptake? And I also like what you said about fact-based decision-making. I think the issue of, data to support, business decision-making and indeed the future fitness, of our companies, especially in an environment of uncertainty and volatility. I think the issue of accurate data that is informing what we do is of paramount importance. Your Lordship, Honorable Mayor, we're still aware of your presence, and Honorable Councillors, all protocol is observed. And we just want to move on to the aspect on the Sustainable Development Goals. We've got our colleagues from UNDP here. We want to find out from them what is the influence of technology and ICT in terms of, accelerating the achievement of our SDGs. We know that the SDG timeline is the year 2030, and we are in the resource mobilization space. We do know that there is data telling us that there is a $4.3 trillion SDG funding gap. So within that context, we want to hear from, UNDP colleagues what their take is on SDGs. And we're about to close the session, ladies and gentlemen. In the interest of time, we'll probably take another 5 to 10 minutes, Program Director, and then we will wind up this session. I know there is Mr. Mangaliso Mohammed. Maybe he can take this question for us. Thank you. They are pointing at each other.
Thank you. My name is Mangaliso Mohammed from UNDP. I think from us, when we're talking about SDGs, it's more about how do we create decent employment, especially for our young people, to ensure that they can earn decent livelihoods, but also not just on livelihoods. Can we create millionaires out of the work that we're doing, so that at the end of the day, we can have a robust market in Eswatini that young people can sell to. So when it comes to ICTs, information, communication, and technology, for us, the biggest thing is, can we use ICT to capture markets so that we as a small population, we can have a larger market that we can sell to? If you're thinking about our market in Eswatini, 1.2 million people, and out of that 1.2 million people, maybe only 300,000 have the money that can support your business. So we need to also look outwards. We need to leverage the export market to ensure that we have a bigger market. We also need to think about market information systems. Within the agriculture sector, for example, can we use ICTs to ensure that we have a robust market information system that can help us to determine a price yelkabishi in 30 days from now? So that if I'm a producer and I can see the market trend, I will know exactly what to produce for me to have more money in my pocket, but also to understand where the gaps are in the market. So we need to understand the market dynamics, and we need to make sure that our ICTs can help us to do that. I think then also the issue of customer experience. We've seen a lot of fintech, so a lot of innovations within the financial sector, your mobile money. So a lot of people can just sit at home and send money to whomever they want to send money. But we also need to think about diversification. What are the new innovations can we come up with to ensure that we are able to do a lot more within the ICT space, so that we are not flooding the same market, but also we're not all doing the same things, but in a way we have different people doing different things within the different sectors of the economy. And then I think the biggest issue is how can we use ICT to create new markets in rural areas in Eswatini. A lot of what we are doing, it's the urbanites that are really engaged in what we're doing on our mobile apps, but there's nothing happening in rural Eswatini. So let's think about how we can use ICTs to create new businesses, new markets in rural areas, so that in rural areas we can have production centers that can feed into these export markets that we want to establish. The issue of aggregation of products in rural Eswatini, so that then we can come as a collective and have those products and export to the rest of the world. So ICT should help us to establish or capture new markets, maintain those markets that we have. And I think for MSMEs, the entrepreneurial spirit, we want to improve your bottom line. At the end of the day, we want people to make money. And I think for cities, the city of Manzini, Mbabane, Matapa, all the cities that we have, you need to take stock of the entrepreneurs that you have. Do you know all the businesses that operate in your spaces, so that then you can have targeted programs that can help those businesses to grow? So that's very key, because at the end of the day, you should have a tracker to say, I have 20 millionaires in Manzini. In the next year, I want to increase that number to maybe 25 millionaires. And then at the end of the day, we are helping the economy to grow, and we're not just stuck in one space where there's no growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed, for your submission. Everyone takes the opportunity to push their own objectives, and of course, you wouldn't spare a moment to do that, because it's about the collectivity, it's about integrating all our efforts to achieve a common objective. And I think, one of the things that we are trying to address within the university is the issue of working in silos. I know we've used that statement so many times, it sounds so cliche, but seeing us all here together as partners within this ecosystem. I think the program director was talking about local economic development from a participatory decision-making point of view, and I think, and this is exactly what we're trying to do. We'll take just 2 more questions from the panel, and then we will conclude. My first quick question will be to RSTP. Are there any startups that you have incubated within your business incubation center, and what kinds of work they are doing? Somebody was talking about market readiness. I think you are the one that used that statement, if not Babehlope, but you guys are in the same boat. So we want to know, are there businesses that have been started by through business incubation? And maybe just to learn, are they platform-based businesses? Because when we think innovation park, we are thinking that these are organizations that are going to outperform, your Alibabas and the likes. Do we have such that is coming from Eswatini? And then the last question will be to Zandile next to me. And just to learn, are there any programs from the UNDP that are trying to promote the adoption of ICTs, and how they are supporting the work that they do? So I'll ask my colleagues to just speak briefly in the interest of time, so that we can give an opportunity to other panels. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, moderator. I think in the perspective of the business incubator, which is also part of RSTP, there has been tremendous strides in terms of coaching or incubating startups within the country. So first and foremost, to be a startup within the business incubator is free for all eMaswati. That's probably one thing that is very important. So we consider the idea that is it viable and also innovative. So I think currently, I might not be sure exactly the statistics in terms of the number of incubators, but I think we do have the head of the incubator department within this particular seminar who can answer that. I think, Margaret, you can.
Thank you for that question. We have presently those that are in the incubation are 56 startup companies. And out of the 56 startup companies, your next question is, are they doing businesses that are
Platform-based.
that are platform-based?
Yeah,
Yes.
automated businesses.
Yes, and it's not only ICT aspect that we focus on. We are focusing on innovation, as Mr. Stole has said, and all forms of innovation, which could go on to the extent of even when we're talking about green economy, we're talking about food and agriculture, and we're not just focusing on businesses that will only be on Alibaba, as you're saying. We're concerned about solving solutions that we have in Eswatini. That is what we're also looking at. That is what we have as businesses that are already in Eswatini. And some of them are already operational. One of them will be speaking in the next session, one of the startups who has come up with a school management system that is already being used by most of the schools in the country. And we also have another one that will also be speaking in tomorrow's seminar, the Youth Entrepreneurship Revolving Fund, who is in cybersecurity. So we do have a number of startups that are successfully operating in the market of Eswatini.
Thank you. Zandi.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. Apologies and all protocol observed. So my question here is about what programs is UNDP currently doing. We are working with the Ministry of ICT at this point, supporting them in terms of understanding our digital readiness as a country. Because I hear there's a lot of digital products that are out there. Then the question is, are we really ready? And where are we as a nation in terms of the consumption of those goods, of those digital goods that we have? Because we are seeing a number of startups and small companies setting up these platforms, these applications that then become white elephants on our phones because nobody is using it. So from last month, UNDP, together with our support partners in terms of our ecosystem within the UN system, we are working with the Chief Digital Office in rolling out a digital readiness assessment. And this assessment is being conducted in country. We are targeting ecosystem players in the ICT space to tell us exactly where are we. We are getting perspectives from the stakeholders as well as the experts. I do understand that some of the experts might be in the room, and I'm sure our data collectors have engaged with them. So what we are trying to achieve here is to get a sense that where is the country in terms of their development journey. We are looking at it using a digital framework which has been tested in other 40 countries within the UN system. And currently we are just about to close this survey because we are now getting a very good sense and a picture of where our country is. The end product of this assessment is going to help us to define our implementation plans accordingly and where are the gaps, where is it that we need to focus on as a nation. And I think from the municipality's perspective, there's a lot of programs that we have, not just in the country, but in our corporate space where there's sustainable cities, smart cities programs that we have. And there's a number of countries such as Rwanda who have been very instrumental in leading that agenda. And I do believe that as a country, we can learn a lot from our neighboring countries or fellow Africans within the region to accelerate and actually trigger some of the innovative capacities that we have in country. And I think another key issue that I wanted to highlight is that, having worked in development, there's quite a number of digital challenges that we have as a country. And I know that my colleagues here have presented a very beautiful picture of where we are, but we also need to start looking at how do we confront some of the challenges that we have. For instance, some of the digital platforms that we have, for paying water, for example, you find that there's some charges related to that. Now the question is, how can we improve on that so that our digital transformation is tangible and real as a country? So we are looking at some of those programs, and of course, we can't do it without collaborative partnerships with municipalities, private sector, and so on, to try and reduce the costs and see how best can we deploy these products in a sustainable manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Zandi, for giving us important insight into what the UNDP, and also highlighting the challenges that are being faced, in implementing this. We're going to go into our Q&A session in the interest of time, so maybe I can just stand up and take just a few questions and comments in readiness to leave. I just want to acknowledge Babe Mhlongo in the audience. I know we don't know each other, but thank you for the great work you've done, Mbabane. As a ratepayer, I can say that we've seen some improvements in Mbabane during your tenure. So thank you, Program Director, for giving me a platform like Tabana Babe Mhlongo Kona, so I can speak my heart. Nothing is perfect, but excellent work there. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard a lot today, and there are many of you in the audience, and some of our panelists have to move on to other engagements that they have today. So we'll just take some quick questions, comments, and maybe you're seeking clarification. Are there any hands? Anyone who wants to say anything? And I just want to ask members of the audience to be as short and sweet as possible so that we can give others a chance. So I'll give you a minute each. Mayor, and then we'll take the lady in red at the back.
Thank you, moderator. My question comment is this one. It lies on a digital infrastructure in the country. As we talk about all these services and digitalization, is the country so much ready in terms of digital infrastructure in order to also get some investors coming in to run it? That's the first one. Secondly, I do recognize government and also parastatal taking lead in this. Where is the private sector entity that says, I see a space in this, let's engage? What hinders that? Is it a matter of policy with government or what? Because that's where we are. This would aid government not to spend so much in terms of investment in the digital infrastructure that we need, which in return will have so many people coming to do business in the country. I would like clarity on that and as a comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe our panelists can take note of the questions while they are being asked. And let's allow, we've also seen people in the audience from the Ministry of ICT and also some internet service providers. I think I saw some people from Jenny Internet who are providing us with free Wi-Fi here. We really appreciate that. Maybe we can give them a round of applause. And maybe we can thank ESCOM for giving them that license.
Lady in red. May I greet everyone in the house, mostly the honorable mayors, councillors, program director, former CEO Mbabane. Happy to see you, and the stakeholders. I have only 2 questions. One, for the improvement of the ICT. I think even we are much left behind. Yabuga nje ukuthi mawusile emakhaya I-technology ayifiki kahle. Number 2, once la husha the technology is not there. Network is gone. I think we have to do some improvement on that one. Secondly, the second question is on EWC. I once have an experience trying to pay over e-technology. After a month, I haven't paid. Yet I did pay through e-technology. So it means there is some lack of improvement on that one. Then I decided that never again pay through technology. I prefer to be line lapa than using the technology because I see there is a problem somewhere, somehow. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just take one last, there's 2. Yes, yeah, she really wants that question. Please be very brief so that we can move on to the next session. I think we're 45 minutes behind time.
Thank you very much, Chair. My question is simple. All the motivation that we're getting points to one thing, that the clients must have access to the technology. But the data is still very expensive. I know at the trade fair it's free, but when you go out, it's not free. What is government or what is being done to lower the cost of data? Most of the people outside there are unemployed. They really don't have the means to access. The first one. The second one, I just want to support the last speaker. I also got frustrated accessing the water services, paying via Standard Bank, via FNB. It did not reflect on time and there were problems. So I'm not sure there's a problem somewhere. Thanks.
Thank you. Just one last question, ladies and gentlemen. The very last question or comment. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but my question is straight to Mr. Stole, RSTP. When he was making his, I hope it's Mr. Stole, the panelist. Yes. Yes, when he was making his presentation, he even mentioned it last that they have a school. They don't reveal to us that they have a school. So last year I took my time and I went there to find out as a teacher on the courses that they are offering there. They are offering, he even mentioned an example of cybersecurity. My question or my concern is that the courses are too expensive, very expensive, such that most of them, they start from 84,000 and upwards. Yes, so the one reason that makes it not known that there's a school at RSTP, the courses are too expensive. But if you check the prospectus, they are so sophisticated courses that we want for our children. They are very good courses. And I would really like my child to go there, but they are too expensive. So my request is that if the government can do something, I know, because I went there straight to ask about it, I know they have a scholarship. But you know the terms and conditions of a scholarship in Eswatini, obviously. Not everyone gets it. There are so many things that you need in order to get a scholarship. So that is my request. And let it be known, let it be known that there's a school at RSTP, because people do want to pursue these courses, but it's not known. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. And our topic, the main topic is the role of information communication technology on business and economic growth. I just want to ask us to give just
Hello.
maybe just give some very quick responses. And you have protection, Mr. Smelane, not because you're a Smelane. So technology, we know that it's got its own glitches, teething problems. So maybe we come to your defense there. And Mr. Hlophe will take 2 questions. Can we have quick responses so that we conclude, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you.
Thank you, Nguni. On the digital IT infrastructure readiness, this is one pillar of the strategy, the government in your hand strategy. It's a pillar that has to be addressed. We're quite aware of it, and we have measures to address it. Where is the business sector? Maybe some of the business people that are here may attest to this. The minister has had engagements, I think, with business Eswatini, more than one engagements with them. So the business ecosystem in the country is being engaged, but also the whole world is being engaged on this, because we know that for government to deliver such a program, it's going to be very, very expensive on her own. And network stability, I think it's part of the answer I've given on number 1 on the IT infrastructure. It's going to be addressed because it's part of the pillar. I think what's being done to lower the cost of data. We have ESCOM here, who is our regulator in the ICT space. And I believe I have seen his name there. Is going to be one of the panelists. Will answer this question when it gets there. I think that is why he's also here, to answer this very question, cost of data. But the ministry has done a lot through ESCOM to lower the cost of data. Thank you.
Actually, maybe let's not let him off the hook, Mr. Fawuti, because it's a serious pain point for all of us. Maybe you can just give us a quick response prior to his panel.
Thank you, Program Director and Moderator. It's very surprising. I know, in every session that we go to, whatever the session or form of it is, this question always comes up. And it's a pertinent question. We do note the concerns from consumers, and as Mr. Hlophe has indicated, it's an issue that as a country, as the Commission, as the Ministry, we have been working on over the past 3 years, and we will continue to work on it. But it must also be recognized, and it is very important that I mention this, that the area of internet particularly, or connectivity provisioning, is a business. So the interests of consumers must be balanced with the interest of the investor. So that is the role that we always try to play. And then the one example that we've given to some of the stakeholders that have come to the office, particularly government ministries and departments, to say that the cost of data is very high. And we ask a simple question: what is your budget? In terms of your budget line on all your costs that you have as a ministry, as an institution, and you find that the budget is zero. The costs are allocated to all other services, which becomes the challenge in other aspects. The challenge is that ICTs is still seen as one of those things when in our own personal spaces, as organizations, in our own personal spaces, we have a provision for that. So when your budget is zero, anything above zero is expensive. Very expensive for that matter.
Thank you, sir.
But we'll talk to that when we get to the next session.
Thank you, sir. We just wanted the audience to breathe a bit. So maybe we can just take a quick one from EWSC. He talked about chatbots, and they are complaining about other things. Just a quick one, Babes Melan.
Okay, thank you so much. We welcome the questions and thank you so much, Mngoni. I think I'll be very fast. In terms of customers having glitches with technology, so technology more introducer, you always have teething issues and then you upgrade and you upgrade. So at that particular time, my technology, it was not real time with third-party collectors. So we understand we are just EWSC, but we use the banks as service providers. We use MTN, Swatini Mobile, and all the others. So once we introduce the app, then we need to get into MOUs with them to say, can you make the app a real-time thing on your system again, so that it doesn't hang? I think all of us here will appreciate you'll get it some other time later, but we are improving now, so you figure instantly. So I would encourage my customers, please come back to me immediately after this. Let's pay, you'll see it in your account. And then the last one, I think we are continuing as EWSC to introduce other platforms like the chatbot that we were talking about. Just to clarify, a chatbot is trying to take out traffic from the conventional contact center where you need to call us. We understand there's issue of resource there. If 30 we lose the 10, the 20, and it's so. But the chatbot is able to handle thousands of people simultaneously, and we understand there's issues of change. Customers sometimes just want to use the normal. So we are in that transitioning, and we're believing as is engaged with government. I actually appreciate such forums because the digital divide that we see in the country says there's people who are exposed to internet and apps, and there's people who are not exposed. So I think as government and parastatals and all the institutions, we need to cater for all these dimensions and all these types of customers in the way we deliver service. And maybe such engagements, if so that we can be able to reach to customers, because once you engage with them, they understand. So it means there is that gap in terms of the digital divide and the exposure of how we can actually get to connect with our consumers. Otherwise, I think in the interest of your time, we do encourage them to visit us in the stands that we have here so that we deliberate more on such issues.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think the last question was directed to Mr. Stole, whether RSTP is publicizing the school enough and the fees.
Thank you once again. I think one maybe might start with appreciating the question and the fact that it's obviously a genuine concern from a parent. I think all of us, those that are parents, we want our kids to get the best education. And one of the UN goals is to access to quality education. And I'm happy that she took the time to visit our facility and inquire for herself. It is true that our fees are expensive. Yes, I could probably point out a number of reasons why. And one of them might be the fact that when the institution was established, it was in partnership with another institution in India. So that came with cost. So it was very, very hard now to probably play around the cost because there were some agreements that were made at a government level. But I think this year we have started to craft programs that would be at our control within RSTP. And I think just to mention to the parent that we are now proposing degree programs which at any time they will be approved by ESHEC. So I think the issue of costs, we would definitely take the concern and brought it forward to our superiors to say even when they are pricing these degree programs, they should consider even those that are not government sponsored, because for us, it's more about the skills, Eswatini, that they will require. We don't want people to travel from Eswatini to South Africa just to study data science. We want it to be available within our reach. So we are working on greater things, and I could promise you that we will be offering these degree programs in no time. So I don't know, I think that's it from my side.
Thank you very much. Maybe we can give a round of applause to our panelists. Thank you, Program Director, for being generous with your time. And I just want to take the latitude to conclude by saying that the University of Eswatini, the home of innovation in Eswatini, the first computer is reported to have been at UNESWA, and this room was full of UNESWA graduates. By the show of hands, I'm sure everyone is going to pick their hand up, including the mayor. You know, we've got a couple of new academic programs in the ICT space. They include BSc Information Technology, BSc Information Science, MSc in Mathematics, Theoretical Physics. We also have new courses that are currently being approved. It is the BSc in Biotechnology, BSc Health Informatics, and we've got a new BSc program in Geographic Information Science and Actuarial Sciences. You know, this is probably some of the stuff you won't read in the paper, but the university is quite innovative. There's a saturation of talent and intellectual capability within that institution. The University of Eswatini has improved in her rankings. In spite of what you might see in the newspapers, it has improved from position 89 out of 9,000 higher learning institutions in the country. The problem with the university is a financial one. We're experiencing financial distress. If RSTP is charging 84,000, we are charging 30,000. So you can see that, you know, the tuition fee gap is the main problem that is accelerating some of the problems of the institution. It is not a problem of academic rigor. And that is why, in spite of our financial problems, we still remain very strong academically. So I would like to encourage all of you to not hesitate even for a second to go and enroll for a program at the University of Eswatini, because you'll be taught by some of the best lecturers in the world. They've studied at Harvard, they've studied at Oxford. Why wouldn't you trust such people? So I just want to give you a different side of the story. Our problem is a financial one. It is not an academic one. The university is placing a very high premium on being fit for purpose, remaining future fit, and supporting, you know, the skill and capability development of our organizations in the country. I would still put my bet on the university. I think the institution far surpasses anything that is in the country. I would say trust those people with your intellectual growth. Thank you very much, Program Director. We'd like to hand over to you. Thank you for indulging us with your audience. And thank you, Your Lordship, Honorable Mayor. I never thought I'd have a chance to say these words, you know, to the important people in this city. Thank you for hosting us in your city. I think I'm using the right language. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Moderator wetu, Mr. Vulindlela Simelane. We really thank you and appreciate you for guiding us in this first session of ours. And may I also thank the panel. I hope I'll humble you, Mr. Simelane. Yes, we wanted just to thank also the panel for the insightful engagement and also the information that they've just shared. I think we've just learned a lot about RSTP as our stakeholder there is citing the issue of the school at the RSTP. I was hoping that Zandile will touch on the digital transformation readiness exercise that UNDP is supporting for the country, which would tell us how far are we in terms of being ready for this technology we're talking about. but we are hoping in future they will share with us so that we can also contribute whichever way they will need us as stakeholders here, because it's a very, very important thing to establish the baseline and then set objectives that can be measurable to say, this is where we're going because we started here. So it's a very, very important exercise, but we hope they will share with us also as we continue to work with them. And thank you very much. I think we have shared quite a number of information, a lot of information for consumption in a very short space of time. I know it was very stressful for you as we're continuing engaging in preparation, but thank you so much. You've done so well. May I request that we give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. And also the issue of UNESCO. This is our only big institution in the country that we should all, I think, how are we taking back UNESCO to where it was? Hence, I would like to plead to anyone who can do anything in terms of the scholarship payments. I did pay mine some years ago, but I'm also part of that alumni, which they are putting together, which we think it will revive the university so that more Emaswati can access education just nearby, other than spending so much traveling all over the world for education and skills. So thank you very much for that one. I would like to quickly conclude this session. I know there's a lot to say, but with the time on our side, it's not on our side, in fact, I would request that we break for a short break, tea break. I think the team will guide us that side. I think the tea is on the right when you come out of that door. May I request that I think 10 minutes will be fair to us all, because we are trying to manage the time so that we don't lose much on the discussion that we will have this side. Thank you very much.
Leading the biggest city in the country is an honorable responsibility. It requires credible leadership in its demand, and therefore we do need to be visionary and also to be innovative and have an inclusive form of leadership in order for us to deliver the services that are required by our stakeholders. And furthermore, we want to make sure that our city becomes a city of choice for investors to come in. Thus, we do take to the great call to His Majesty the King, where he requires us to achieve a first world status as a nation. Therefore, the city of Manzini, as an economic hub, is the true engine of economic growth. And that's the responsibility that I have as a mayor of the great city.
First of all, I'm a Manzini original. I was born here. At 2 Sticks next to Zakele. Grew up here. Went to Salesian High School, and I still live here. So I'm born and bred in Manzini. Secondly, I think as a city, especially the municipality, the leadership has a lot of vision and dynamism. You are always finding new things being made, new things being planned. So in a way, as an investor, you feel like you are in good hands. You've got people who have got good plans for the future of the city. I like, even from a residential viewpoint that I live here, I like the conscientiousness in the staff of the city, be it the planning department, the hygiene department. If you have a complaint, they are very responsive, and they are very concerned, and they will follow up even afterwards. For example, if there's a neighbor making noise, they come here and they sort the problem out, and the next day they call you to say, is everything okay, Mr. Lam? So those things are quite good, and they make one to make this place a home and to invest resources of our company in this city.
Ngolakhi ngwakamthunzi Sibongo. Ngisebenzela la phakathi emakethe kaManzini. Hawu ngaqoqela mina ethu ngisebenza ngento lephathelene nelithayela mina ethu. Ngefika la kaManzini emakethe nga98. Solo ngisebenzana nalento lekuthiwa thayela. Ngakha konke lokuphathelene nelithayela. Ngishimela wetitofu, tipeiti tokpeita, mafidasi etinkukhu okufida tinkukhu, ma-toolbox, konke nje okuphathelene nethayela, tingqongwane, konke okuphathelene nethayela mna ethu ngisebenza ngako la phakathi emakethe mnayethu. Kuyathengwa mnakethu. Lokuthengwa kwakhona kuya ngemasizini. Yabona nje nabe sesikhathi sokuvuna lokwemathanga, yabo emathanga emmbila. Ayathengwa ke mnakethu lapho kuba isikhathi sokuthi athengwe ngilapho khona ngikhona khona ukuthi ngisime. Naloko tipeiti ke vele nako kuyahamba hamba ke mnakethu kube nalesikhathi lapho khona kuhle kumayima nje kuthulisa bhuti. Keja nje ngeke ngisengikhulume emanga mnakethu ukuthi ngiyalamba nebantwana cha. Siyakhona kuphila ekhaya mnakethu. Kuhle kokuba lana mnakethu sengisebentile lana bhuti. Into letiningi senginato ekhaya. Ngalo msebenzi wami la ejardini lamasipala. Ngibekise nje mnakethu inkomo yami yokuqala ngayithenga ngemali yala phakathi emakethe mnakethu. Ngasebenza lapha phakathi emakethe ngisebenza wona la mathayela. Ngathenga inkomo yami yokuqala. Yangidalela le nkomo mnakethu. Nyalo nginetinkomo leting-80. Ngenkomo le ngayithenga la ngila phakathi ejardini lamasipala mnakethu emakethe. Ngisebenza wona la mathayela mnakethu. Lokunye bhuti ngusebentile la. Ngisebentile mnakethu ngawafaka emandla kwaba khona nalokunye lokutholako nokuhamba senginako ngakuthola khona ngilaphakathi emakethe ngihamba ngetinyawo leting4 nje mnakethu.
Igama lami ngiLalisile Mathebula, ngisebenzela la Manzini emakethe. Sesithi isikhathi ngile Manzini emakethe, I think ngafika 1997. Mangijala kwenda umsebenzi wetandla. Kuningi kakhulu engikwendako, bacebesha. Imvunulo yonke nje lephelele ngiyayenza. Migaco, tindla, momacakala, anything nesebenzisa ema-beats I can do. I can design different things ngama-beats. Khonile nje khulisa abantu abami bafunda esikole abacethe ngemisebenzi wetandla. Ngiyaphila vele, ngiyaphila kakhulu. Kwakha imikhaya nivuthile. Kuyathengwa, it's like le mvunulo it's seasonal, kuyadependa ufuna wathi ukuthi the season yini le ngihambela ko, the season yini le ngihambela njenganyalo nje isikhathi semhlanga. Funa sifake kakhulu letimvoto emhlanga, sikhicite indlamu, imigaco, macebisha, amafahlawani, sibe nako yonke imvunulo yetinfombi.
Being the biggest city in the country is an honorable responsibility. It requires credible leadership in its demand, and therefore we do need to be visionary and also Leading the biggest city in the country is an honorable responsibility. It requires credible leadership in its demand, and therefore we do need to be visionary and also to be innovative and have an inclusive form of leadership in order for us to deliver the services that are required by our stakeholders. And furthermore, we want to make sure that our city becomes a city of choice for investors to come in. Thus, we do take to the great call to His Majesty the King, where he requires us to achieve a first world status as a nation. Therefore, the city of Manzini, as an economic hub, is the true engine of economic growth. And that's the responsibility that I have as a mayor of the great city.
First of all, I'm a Manzini original. I was born here. At 2 Sticks next to Zakele. Grew up here. Went to Salesian High School, and I still live here. So I'm born and bred in Manzini. Secondly, I think as a city, especially the municipality, the leadership has a lot of vision and dynamism. You are always finding new things being made, new things being planned. So in a way, as an investor, you feel like you are in good hands. You've got people who have got good plans for the future of the city. I like, even from a residential viewpoint that I live here, I like the conscientiousness in the staff of the city, be it the planning department, the hygiene department. If you have a complaint, they are very responsive, and they are very concerned, and they will follow up even afterwards. For example, if there's a neighbor making noise, they come here and they sort the problem out, and the next day they call you to say, "Is everything okay, Mr. Lam?" So those things are quite good, and they make one to make this place a home and to invest resources of our company in this city.
Ngolakhi ngokamthunzi Sibongo. Ngisebenzela la phakathi emakethe kaManzini. Hawu ngaqoqela mina ethu ngisebenza ngento lephathelene nelithayela mina ethu. Ngefika la kaManzini emakethe nga98. Solo ngisebenzana nalento lekuthiwa lithayela. Ngakha konke lokuphathelene nelithayela. Ngishimela wetitofu, dipeyiti tokupeyita, mafidasi etinkukhu okufida tinkukhu, ma-toolbox, konke nje okuphathelene nelithayela, tingqongwane, konke okuphathelene nelithayela mina ethu ngisebenza ngako la phakathi emakethe mina ethu. Kuyathengwa mina lethu. Lokuthengwa kwakhona kuya ngemasizini. Yabona nje nabe sesikhathi sokuvuna lokwemathanga, yabo emathanga embili. Ayathengwa ke mina ethu lapho kuba isikhathi sokuthi athengwe ngilapho khona ngikhona ukuthi ngisime. Nalokwethi ipeyiti ke vele nako kuyahamba ke mina ethu kube nalesikhathi lapho khona kuhle kumayima nje kuthulisa. Sengikhulume manga mina ethu ukuthi ngiyalamba nebantwana cha. Siyakhona kuphila ekhaya mina ethu. Kuhle kokuba lana mina ethu sengisebentile lana bhuti. Into letiningi senginato ekhaya. Ngalo msebenzi wami la ejardini lamasipala. Ngibekise nje mina ethu inkomo yami yokuqala ngayithenga ngemali yala phakathi emakethe mina ethu. Ngasebenza lapha phakathi emakethe ngisebenza wona la mathayela. Ngathenga inkomo yami yokuqala. Yangidalela le nkomo mina ethu nyalo nginetinkomo leting-80. Ngenkomo le ngayithenga la ngila phakathi ejardini lamasipala mina ethu emakethe ngisebenza wona la mathayela mina ethu. Lokunye bhuti ngikusebentile la. Ngisebentile mina ethu ngawafaka emandla kwaba khona nalokunye lokutholako nokuhamba senginako ngakuthola khona ngila phakathi emakethe. Ngihamba ngetinyawo leting-4 nje mina ethu.
Igama lami nguNalisile Mathembula. Ngisebenzela la kaManzini emakethe. Sesithi isikhathi ngile kaManzini emakethe, I think ngafika 1997. Mangicala kwenda umsebenzi wetandla. kunengakhulu enkwentako bacebesha imvunulo yonke nje lephelele ngiyayenza migaco tindla momacakala anything lesebenzisa ema-beats I can do. I can design different things ngama-beats. Benefitile kakhulu ngikhonile nje khulisa abantu abami bafunda esikole abacethe ngemisebenzi wetandla. Ngiyaphila vele, ngiyaphila kakhulu. Kwakha imikhaya nivuthile. Kuyathengwa, it's like le mvunulo it's seasonal, kuyadependa ufuna wathi ukuthi the season yini le ngihambela ko, the season yini le ngihambela njenganyalo nje isikhathi semhlanga. Funa sifake kakhulu letimvo temhlanga, sikhicite tindlamu, imigaco, macebesha, amafahlawani, sibe nako yonke imvunulo yetinfombi.
Our city's aspiration as towards economic development perspective, as we are greatly inspired by the call of His Majesty to grow our economy. And therefore, our policy inspires and encourages and sets up an enabled environment for business to participate in that space. And we also have a support mechanism for our SMEs to participate, that they grow even to a space where they will compete regionally and globally in services and goods that are actually provided by our business environment in this place, in this regard. We are also targeting that we be an enabled environment even for other foreign investors to come and invest in our local economy, so that we have a robust, growing economy as Manzini City.
At Fairview, we are at completion stage of a multi-million shopping center, which will be, which is about 5,000 gross lettable area, which will be anchored by ShopRite. It's a private-public partnership between private sector, which is ourselves, and the Inyatsi, and public sector, which is municipality. Managing this project from its inception, engaging with the municipality. First of all, you are quite encouraged by the visionary, out-of-the-box thinking of the leadership of the city. Not many towns are making serious strides towards diversifying their income base away from rates collections. But this city has made serious, tangible strides towards that, and this project will be one of those initiatives. So first of all, being part of something new and novel was very interesting to us. And the leadership from the CEO herself, her executive, all the directors, they are very, very helpful and responsive. A little bit too thorough at times, I must say. The inspection department stops us every so often because they want to inspect this and they want to. And sometimes it's a frustration, but they're doing their job. And they are adhering to quality standards. But sometimes, to me as a developer, that's a little bit of a headache. But it's a good headache because it's someone is doing their work. So yes, we found it very pleasant to work with the city on the PPP project we're doing in Fairview.
Ukhona la asibite kuko masipara uyasibite nje siyikomiti emarket. Asibitele kosifundisa. Athi la asifundisa khona khane ukuthi usibitele emabhange, usibitele lokwa nalokwa. Asifundise ukuthi ibhizinisi nawo iranisha wenta kanje ube namabhuku ayo. Konke lokho asibite emasipara bese uthi kasambe sotshela sive lesihlala naso phakathi emarket. Senginayo i-account mina yethu yale business yami nemabhuku akhona mina yethu. Ngoma lokukhulu kakhulu uyasigcizelela emasipara ukuthi funa sibe nema-license. Sikhona ekuthela njalo phela kwenyanga siyathela. Nalapho-ke ngento salibala kumbonga masipara ngoma uyathi asilanda incwadi kuye siyothatha i-license. Nale license yethu ngathi siboma business labancane ingabidi kakhulu, nako lokho singakubonga lokho umasipala.
Yes, masipala uyadama kusisita because uhle ayada nje atoshutha titfomba utosimaketha sifunele ama-tourists. So bantu bekuhamba sinabo bayangena. Achievile kakhulu nonyaka ngesithethe nje lesicoco semsebenzi wetandla athathela live lonke. Ngale ngathatha lesa-regional samanzini then ngabe sengithatha lesa-national. Kamanzini lawuthi kuyasebenteka kuyaphileka. Kuyaphileka akufani nje nale makhaya. Emakhaya ungathi khanze abudiva kahle. Mina nje nangakutshela ukuthi ngivuke steak ngide kamanzini tosebenza every day. Ngivuka vele ngingiloyo emsebenzini.
The private-public partnership approach to project implementation is first of its kind.
Thank you very much. Stakeholders, may we please reconvene our session. In the interest of time, I see that the coffee was very, very nice. I see some of us are having the third one already. Can we please start, stakeholders? Yes, we would like to move on to the second session. I believe that all our panelists are here. I would like to kick it off by introducing our moderator for this session, Ms. Xolisile Twala, who is a social entrepreneur. She has done a lot. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a coach. She also trains on financial management. She's doing a lot anyways. I think she will highlight those things for herself. She has a master's in business science. She also holds a BCom honors in entrepreneurship. She's well versed with the topic that we are getting into. She's also a former colleague of us in the municipalities where she was working as a local economic development practitioner. So may I invite Ms. Xolisile. She's very energetic. I think if you can give a round of applause as she comes through. Thank you, Xoli. You may have your nice seat that side. May I then also quickly request Mr. Thulan Fagutse, the Director of Technical Services from ESCOM, Mr. Fagutse, who is responsible for the regulation of communication and data protection and cybersecurity in the country, not just only in ESCOM, in the country. So I heard the questions of data cost and the likes. I think she will assist us in that part. Mr. Fagutse is highly qualified as she holds a master's in technology management. So the issue of technology that we are discussing here today, she is well versed on it. Next, I would like to request my former party here. She's a policy analyst and a project management expert. Ms. Winile Dlamini, who works in Babane municipality as a local economic development practitioner. She's here with us also to participate in the panel. Please come through, Ngosi. Ms. Winile Dlamini has a master's in development finance. I can say, Your Lordship, Eswatini qeqeshiwe. Bantu bafunzile Eswatini, we are happy to have experts who will guide us in these such complex discussions. Welcome, Ngosi. She has worked in government also for quite some time, so she's a better place on that part. At this point, may I also invite Mr. Mluleke Dlamini, the Director SMEs in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. Mr. Mluleki Dlamini works as director in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Tech. He's responsible for quite a number of initiatives that tries to promote SME development in the country. I think we've seen him many times, in particular in the media spaces, always launching something and talking on SME issues. I think she will share us a lot this side. Mr. Dlamini here, he's also an economist, and also she has a rare skill of having a master's in IP, intellectual property, which I was talking about earlier on. What I've realized in the country, we still hasn't monetized and understood the issue of IP. We have a lot of developers and innovators getting manipulated because they've not registered and also do the IPs on this part. Because you sell these IPs if you have managed to copyright your whatever your innovation you are coming with. So he's well versed on that aspect. Last but not least, may I invite my acting CEO, who is also the Director of Community Services in the Municipal Council of Manzini, Mr. Zweli Mapanga. Zweli Mapanga works on issues of town planning, spatial planning, and community services, public health, and environmental health in the municipality. Mr. Mapanga has a master's in town and regional planning, and she's also pursuing his MBA. So I think the panel, it's a very strong panel, dear stakeholders. I think we will be able to leverage on their expertise and experience in these discussions. Maybe to kick off the discussion, stakeholders, I would like to hand over to Ms. Xolisile Twala to lead us, but I would request her to start briefly, tell us about herself and what she does, and then she will lead us on the discussion. Thank you very much.
Program Director, Your Worship the Mayor, Honorable Councillors, allow me to say all protocols observed. You always know if somebody has worked in municipalities when they know. You have to say, Your Worship the Mayor. You don't just say, Honorable Mayor. No, 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 no. Your Worship the Mayor. So it is my pleasure to be here. I'm Xolisile Twala, and I will be the moderator. I wanted to have a special greeting for my former boss, but I think he's gone out. Mr. Gideon Mhlongo. He's gone out? He's having coffee. He's still having coffee. No, I really wanted to say that I hear people say, oh my God, you're energetic, you this and that. And it really, to a large part, thanks to Mr. Mhlongo. I do want to give him his flowers whilst he's still alive. Because in all sincerity, he trained me. That man trained me. He will say to me, I remember this other time, there was, I won't be long, I know we don't have time, but I want to tell the story in his, on his honor, and I hope you'll hear. There was this big conference happening in Cabo Verde. So they wrote me, the CEO, we're inviting the CEO to come talk about LED. So I took it and I went to him. I'm like, Babe, I used to call him Babe, because he's such a father figure. So I was like, Babe, in Cabo Verde, they're inviting you to come present about LED. So he had this thing, he's very chilled. You've seen Mr. Mhlongo, right? Very chilled. He'd look at me and say, Xolisile, aren't you the one who's doing LED? He'd say, yes, Babe. Go present. He said, no, 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 Babe, you don't understand. There'll be CEOs, there'll be thousands of people from all over the world. He's like, Xolisile, aren't you the one who's doing LED? Yes, Babe. Go present. So then I'll go. So he really trained me in leadership. So now I run my own NGO. It's called Busiso Pembe Foundation, named after my mom. And we do 3 key things: mentorship, youth mentorship, because I believe it's key. We also do financial literacy. And partly why we do financial literacy is because I learned, I've been in this space, the program director did say that I worked as an LED officer for 6 years in Babane, reporting to Mr. Mhlongo. I've been in this poverty alleviation space for many years. But I was worried that, why are we still poor? What are we doing? I mean, now we're talking to business people, but why are we not creating enough wealth as business people? So then I realized I wanted to run my own thing where I teach people, how do you manage your money? It's extremely important. Because a lot of us here, I won't go there. Before you kick me out, I won't go there. But it's extremely important to know how to manage your money, and it's extremely important, especially for business people, to know how to manage your money, and that's what we do. And then we also do entrepreneurship development. But I will jump right into it. We don't have much time. I have, my panelists, my program director has introduced us. I just want to brief you in the agenda so you know where we're going. I will ask them about 2 questions. I will ask Mr. Faguza first, and then we'll go down with my panelists. I will request them that we'll ask the first question first. Please take about 5 minutes. I know we're doing so much. You see, they even, especially this local government officers, they even have laptops, Baba. They are here to present. No, forget the laptops. I want you to go tap. Just hit the key points, and I do believe you'll be around for a little bit of time. People will ask questions at the end, but also for a little bit of time so people can ask more questions if they do want. But I think what will be key, even for my panelists, as you tell us your initiatives, I'll ask you 2 questions on the general initiatives, but also ITC-based, like technologically based. So that will be the difference between these two questions. But yeah, so please, 5 minutes per question. When you respond to that, most importantly for me, what we would love to know, I think as business people, is how do we access those? So tell us the initiative, and maybe tell us how are people accessing them now, but also tell us how do we access them. So that by the time they go out, as business people, by the time we go out, we want to know, okay, so we can approach so-and-so, and there's this initiative that we can take advantage of. So that will be extremely key for me. So 5 minutes. I trust my panelists. I know we're going to do this right, because I know we don't have time. We started a little bit late. My job is to ensure we finish on time. I don't want the program director to kick me out of the stage, no. And I want Manzini to call me again, guys. Work with me. Okay, so I think that's the most important thing. And then, may we as an audience, if we have any questions, please write them down. We'll have a Q&A at the end. What I want to try for is to push so we have enough time for Q&A. So for me, it's extremely important because I know you know some of these initiatives. I know you are trying to participate in some of these initiatives, or you're participating. It's important for me to know if you have any glitches, you can ask them. To say, you know what, we know about this, we've been trying to do this. How do we take advantage of that even better? So please write your questions down, and right at the end, we will then take questions. Okay, are we happy? Are we happy as audience? I love it. Yeah, so now my former boss is here. I hope you heard, Mr. Mhlong. I was singing your praises, man. I don't know if you heard, but if not, I'll tell you afterwards. Right. So I will start with Mr. Faguze, because he's right next to me. Really, I'd love to know what are the initiatives that you have at SCCOM, especially, and we're talking directed to businesses. I would like you to say those that can be accessed by very small businesses, youth, women, up to big businesses. I want to know, like, tell them small businesses, yes, you covered here, yes, you covered there. Because sometimes as Swazis, we're like, it's not for me. It's for big businesses. Let's not worry. So it would be nice to know, as a regulator in this space, what initiatives would you like to tell businesses about? And you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you, moderator. As you have heard, she's very energetic. You are not going to get that from me. And maybe just to get into the question, I'm going to say all protocol observed. I don't want to mess up the salutations. I think it has been well covered since the morning. I'll respond to the question from 2 perspectives. Maybe as a disclaimer, ESCOM is a very small organization with very small opportunities, not big like programs and things like that. So I will respond from 2 perspectives as an organization and what probably we are doing for the business sector and entrepreneurs as a regulator. The simplest one is to start with ESCOM as a regulator. We do, as an organization, we do have, just like many of the organizations that are here, have opportunities, particularly, I'll speak particularly in the ICT sector, in terms of the solutions and the systems that we would want to have in place. I liked the questioning from the previous moderator to say specifically what are we doing. From our side, what we have from a procurement point of view, we provide what we call a cost advantage to local businesses of up to 15%. So if there's a business opportunity or is an opportunity to participate in providing services to ESCOM, and you are competing, say, with businesses from outside the country, we can accept your price if it's 15% within that margin as compared to, or 15% more expensive compared to what the external service provider does. So I think that's one of the policies that we have adopted to try and promote the local business environment. But still there are challenges. Yeah. And the challenges come from probably, and I'll stay around on this. They come from largely the fact that whilst the young generation is much more business inclined, but we see a lot of the fact that there is still a lot of inclination towards employment. Yeah. And we've seen that in the programs that we have implemented, where we are empowering young people, we are empowering entrepreneurs in terms of even sponsorships and awards and prizes and things like that. The moment that they get employed somewhere, they just drop everything. Yeah. So there's many risks associated with this, but we have to work with those risks to say, how do we deal with them? Because once someone gets a 15,000 paycheck, they will forget your solution. And now the problem becomes, because this is a solution that has been developed by this SME, how is it going to be maintained going forward? So those are some of the issues and challenges that we are dealing with. But as people that are in the ICT sector, we are trying to find ways in terms of dealing with that. And we think that the best way to deal with that is for organizations here, including the municipality and everyone, to create more opportunities, because the challenge is that you have this young person working on your project and only your project. There are no other opportunities because we still, and I'm sorry that my colleagues from government, they have left the meeting. We still do engagements with a lot of external service providers, and that is significantly limiting the opportunities that is availed to young people. So those are some of the issues, and the programs that we are now trying to look at as a regulator are around how then do we advocate from a policy point of view to say, can there be a shift in terms of how we deal and do our procurement, and then it is very important that it is young people. What we've also, particularly in the ICT sector, what we have seen is that it's people and that are saying they are entrepreneurs. They need to start there, obviously. It's people that are getting solutions off the shelf somewhere and bringing that solution here to sell as their own. I think that is the main problem. We want to create an ecosystem that promotes the development of locally based solutions, because it is true that you are going to see development in the sector. Otherwise, if you buy something, you put a 10% markup, and that's it. You are only getting the 10%. In terms of capacity, in terms of many other things, there is not much that you are able to get. I think I have exhausted my 5 minutes, but I still had quite a few in terms of what else are we working on and doing. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I'll ask another question. Then if there is some stuff that you still want to say, then please add to that, Mr. Mr. Faguse. You know what? I think there's something that he's touched on. So I'll ask about LED, obviously, with municipalities. But also, as you answer, Winnie, please he talked about the issue of, okay, he said limited opportunities. In all sincerity, I've done a study, and I really believe the major issue with young people and a lot of us is a mindset. It's a mindset issue, because if there's no opportunity, you need to create it. Find a way. As an entrepreneur, you need to constantly be creative and innovative to find that opportunity. And also, we will come back to ask this question, to ask SICOM to say, how do we make the internet accessible? Because we should all be thinking global. Don't think, oh, there are limited opportunities in Eswatini, you are a global citizen. Anyway, so we will come back to that, right, in the next round. But LED, we know that obviously development happens in cities. There are local spaces, and we expect businesses to be grown there, to grow in cities. So and that's normally done, supported by the local economic development section or department in local authorities. So may you please tell us, Winile, what have you been doing? And also, even here, there's a fallacy that LED is for small businesses. But I would like us to talk about that, to say, yes for the youth, yes for the women, yes for small businesses, but big businesses as well. Because it's extremely key that we cover the whole spectrum. So what have you been doing? And I love that, Mr. Fagose, you took 5 minutes exactly. I don't know how you knew it. Maybe there's a way I looked at you now. I need to, master that look that says the 5 minutes is up. But yeah, just like in 5 minutes, tell us what you're currently doing, obviously to provide an enabling environment, because for us with government and local government, our job is to provide an enabling environment. Yes, Winnie.
Okay, good morning to everyone. May I recognize all protocol, your worship, your mayor, my classmate in primary. It's good to see you. May I also recognize the presence of my boss. I would like to echo Goli's words. Surely he's a leader. He just sets the tone in a very soft way. Hayi kanjalo. Sido, makathi Sido, uyathi siseyibhemile ke khona lokungahambi. Siyabonga Njomane for your leadership. Here we are today. I hope we will make you proud. As Mr. Dlamini introduced me, I'm a seasoned civil servant. I spent like 19 years, kahulumende, economic planning, luckily across sectors. So when I saw the local economic space, I was like, it is time I step down to the grassroots level. We've been planning at a higher level. What is really happening? Wow, what a lesson. Kune town planning scheme lapha. You don't do things willy-nilly. You are supposed to support people. But in a lighter note, I would like to say, as part of my job, LED, Gamaspala, starting from the most informal to the very formal, your big gurus in the city, you have to make sure you create an enabling environment through the policies. How are they interpreting the policies that we have at a national level and at a statutory level? So what council normally does, or what we do on a day-to-day, is we have to make sure we continue sensitize people. Kunemthetho wa ERS, kunemthetho wa ENPF, uma ungsoma business at dolobheni. Make sure if you want to do business with council, you have those things. But if you are informal, you don't just go there and mushroom. But that's there is regulation in the city. So we have those capacity building programs across the different stages of Emma business. SMEs, informal, how do you get your permit? And then how do you get your lease if it's a lease? In addition to that, we then look at ourselves internally. These people, we are expecting them to comply to these regulations. How are we responsive as a city? That is your ease of doing business. We are reducing the turnaround time in responding to applications from the public. If I were to make an example with the issuance of construction permit, we were at 42 days. People would get their response after 42 days. But today, through the reforms that we are initiating, we are at 20 days. Soma business who is interested in coming to establish in Babane gets a response, kuti, that's the right place, you can go and do or start business. The same thing applies to those things. But would want to highlight, kuti, as the local people, Bomaspal, when we are planning for the city, its development, it is important to say, what do we want to do out of this space that we have? Because people find that sesibeke CBD la, akusamsebenzi sayigcwele CBD. Masafuna kuyosebenza emsunduza, sesithi thina ku residential. Yet now they are seeing an economic opportunity. So I would urge Bomasipala ukuthi in our planning as local authorities, let the communities have those designated retail setup spaces whereby people would then say, kunenzawo yekusebenta edolobheni ayikho eCBD kuphela. And that would minimize loku offendana sesiyahamba siyabophana sibutha tinfo ngekuthi we restricted or narrowed planning yethu. I'll then move on Xoli to a second pillar, if I were to put it here, LED, we recognize, if you're an entrepreneur, there's a culture that you have to acquaint yourself with. Most of our Bosoma business, live siyati bekuneti bhasi tishingshane bo sibanban so bamlabadzala bebathi nje makube ne trip bese bayeta assembly basijike ngabozuka in appreciation of the support, yet it is killing business. So it is important to teach Bosoma business bethu edolobheni ukuthi what does it take for you to be an entrepreneur, and it is trainings, training, digital training, entrepreneurship training, IT solutions to make things efficient and better, retaining timali tabo in the most efficient way. And then moving on, go entrepreneurship training, we do work with Banfubetfulabasha, a challenging cohort. Mr. Faguta has mentioned that once they get something better, bayashia in the literal sense. Siyacela nje sibambisaneni sima stakeholders eldolobha ukuthi how do we keep our young people interested? Bangabaniketi imali bathi ayisebenzi lento yenu sifuna imali. Masipala letha imali. Uyithatha masipala imali ekunika ibhizinisi yakho. Ngidawuthini kulo councillor wakuleli wadi lathi senginike wena wangala. They don't understand that in the urban space. So we really request government ukuthi with the financing opportunities that we have to now try and customize the informality nature yala ma informal setups ethu starting ngalo make nalo mfulo musha ukuthi currently it is not working for us. As local authorities, we train them. And then we fall short in financing. Bese ayisatholakali nasembili, and all that becomes futile. Also, I would like to mention tinfo tekusupporta ke bosoma business emadolobheni. We want to make sure it's a safe space for doing business as Bomasipala. Hence, you see the infrastructure, be it the roads, the lines, and the security, bogezi, malayin abomapos. This is our mandate, working with the other stakeholders. A city must have that kind of infrastructure, of which magafika RSTP angacaleli phasi akhanze ukuthi kude tintsambo tekufaka le fiber or kude ema drains emabhizinisi. They are often faced with boma flooding. We used to see that, but local authorities ensure that we support businesses in that way. We support them through these forums as well. Come, let's talk. What is it that we are not doing right? What is it that you would want to see at Dolopeni, Wendega? We've invited ESCOM last year in our business forum. Babane is the next Silicon Valley of Swatini. So we are a smart city, and there's some infrastructure that is being worked on these days to make sure Gutsi Mbabane, one, when it comes to the internet connections, business won't struggle. Transactions will flow like that. Payments will be coming in and out of Mbabane. When people want to access internet with the infrastructure that we are working on in collaboration with the Taiwanese, that will be also things of the past, thinking at the Guti Asconi, who connector Mbabane. Mbabane has also done what we call realizing Guti, not everyone can buy data, or not everyone has sophisticated. Bobas rank emagete, park, na some communities. kune Wi-Fi, though kept at a certain capacity, people have that good see, oh, let me do something, let me do some transaction. If it's someone in business, that is an opportunity for them to do their transactions, which I think it's a good initiative when you look at it into an IT space. With the partners, they might want to collaborate with us and expand those kind of places where we can access the internet. Sengiceda nje program director wami lo wangendela ihandover lengushilo utakungeda shothi awungitshelanga ngita ucela kuphathisa nako ukuthi in all the support that we give to business, sensitizing them on policy, training them on entrepreneurship, ensuring an enabling environment, ensuring we have markets for them. Hence, you see the flea market every day, every month end in Baban. It is an effort to say, how can you expand or maximize EMA resources? Here's an additional day, apart from where you work from, buitotengisa utokona kutiphilisa. Nang commerce, nang finkopo, siyakulethela singbabanu soma business, ukuthi come, ask them what you want to do. Kunetinto nje lengithi maybe for us to break through in this IT story and supporting EMA business as a whole, we have to be intentional when planning EMA development. What are we wanting to get out of this? Hulumende is talking of special economic zones, glamanyema forums. Etolopeni, go limited logo, go support Hulumende, which we can have economic zones. And the IT infrastructure sometimes come in very expensive. Hence, boy UNDP, as local authorities, without UNDP, without partnerships, some of these programs might not take off. Ngoba simaswati internet iqhamuka Taiwan ngiyabekisa, not that it does ehlula, but that's how we learn. Bantu bethu, we are complaining of unemployment. Yes, some careers are saturated and we are talking STEM today. Our schools do not have internet facilities. Partners, nabo masipala, we can also look into those programs kuthi how do we encourage Lomvana to go for the science spaces. Nababo STEM bakhona. JA, working with JA, uyakuzama logo, but it is not that sufficient. Digital literacy is something that has to continue. Am I picking some energy from you? Yeah. But I'll attend to the rest. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mbabane. Mbabane ke ungilaba mfana labo bomtshela ukuthi thatha namaswidi utawubuya ngikubita uthatha juice no ufuna kuthatha lamaswidi nale juice kanye kanye ngoba ngithi Temine, I've got 2 questions for all of them. Ngathi I will ask the technology next. Ay Mbabane uthathe yonke. So what we will do in Mbabane kule next round is tamnika maybe minishanyana nje in case afuna add anything. Okay. So we will move on to Umlangeni, director wetfula phayana. The truth is, Winila also has highlighted Lenzabaye mindset. Yes, she said they do trainings to help with Lenzabaye shift away mindset. But I think it would be nice to hear Nanga Lega Commerce, Lenzabaye mindset here to see Sebendaganjani, because it is true, we've got a lot of entrepreneurs, laba necessity driven. I entrepreneur because you said so mzukanek fikum sebendu yahamba. Which is a bit tricky. It's nice to have entrepreneurs who are passionate about entrepreneurship, because those are the kind of entrepreneurs that baboni problem bajabule because they will come up with a solution and take advantage of that. So I think that I want, but also, director, obviously, maskuluma ngabo enabling environment is kuluma ngokuthi ema policies la khona, sikuluma ngabo access to markets, access to finance, ukhulumile na winile lokho ukuthi kufuneka ama partners with all these things about enabling environment. But okungijabulisile kakhulu ngosiyami director wami, inhlito yami beyihlala ibhlungu, ngana i-citizens empowerment bill ebeyibill. Sithandaze kuphi kuzibe yi-act. Maye muhle Jesu. Ngiyacela ke director wami uyikhulumise. Yeah, le enabling environment le ndiwa ngu SMEs. Le technology sitayishiya la ngalagcinene. Ngidanibuya ngithi hahla, but kwanyalo sicela sibuke nje konke lokunye lokuyi enabling environment lesikwendako.
All right, thank you very much, Program Director. A lot of energy indeed. I'm happy the way we are aligning with our local government, because the programs, it is what government inspires in terms of micro, small and medium enterprises development and promotion. So Logo Kombago now, as a country, we are pushing to the same direction. as opposed to like government is doing something and the local government is doing another. So that will definitely have an impact to business because the Kombisa with the focus. So in a nutshell, in my summary, in terms of the ecosystem of the policy or in terms how we interact with business, it is in three folds. We have the legal reforms part of things, we've got the finance of things, and also the entrepreneurship. So basically, the citizen economic empowerment falls under the armpit of the legal reforms. Then we also speak of issues of the culture, financial literacy, and all of those, entrepreneurship. As you are program director, a social entrepreneur, I doubt some of you understand your social entrepreneur, what it means, but we'll explain to them later. So the Citizen Economic Empowerment Act, under the armpit of the legal reforms, intentionally wants to address issues of businesses not being able to benefit on local procurement particularly. That we are saying in the regulations that we'll be developing, let us have a certain percentage in procurement that will be allocated to local businesses. And these businesses as well will be reserved for only Emaswati. So in that way, you are saying if Masipala procures uniforms for the staff at 100 million annually, we are saying 10% needs to be sourced locally. What is that saying? It is saying that the money from Masipala will move from Lama office in Masipala and come to the office in the country. Then we'll be saying in that 10%, we do not want you to import, but support local manufacturers. We are not saying that if you get that 10%, that 10% allows you to bring imports. We are saying we are encouraging that you source it from local manufacturers. So in that way, we are closing that gap and that we are creating that value chain. Gradually, as we see that we are now upscaling in terms of manufacturing and production, we increase the percentage. We increase the percentage up until we feel that we now have that volumes that are required for the market. So because we do not want a situation also where you will close the market, then you will have a deficit which will then push up the price, then you find yourself dealing with monopolies in the country. So that is one part. Then we also have a part of domestic and foreign investment. For foreign investment, we are saying we want to see joint ventures. There are other sectors that will reserve to say, for this sector, for a business to or a joint venture. So we want to encourage that to say some areas need to operate in that way. So it is in that way now giving space to say, under manufacturing, say for textile, we'll say an investor needs to partner with the local. So that when there's an order for these uniforms, you know who can manufacture that, then provide. So that is one fact of it. And then issue of regional development. We want to see more businesses now also extending to other areas besides Mbabane Manzini. So we need to develop some incentives that will push the businesses out of this, so that we address the issue of the crowding that is happening in this area. So all of those things are part of what this policy seeks to address and try and balance in the economy. So all of it, as you can understand, will now evolve around issues of finance. We will need support from financial institutions and other development partners to come in and provide that financial support in a way not to crowd out the local businesses. So those are our aspirations, and as a ministry, as we try to address that. I've got 5 minutes, so I can go on. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Nkosi. I think men, maybe it's because we women do talk naturally, we do talk a lot. Men are sticking to my 5 minutes. I'm happy, I'm very happy. And what I want to highlight in what you've just said, Director, it's the fact, Alogo Gutsi, it's key to have money circulating in the economy for a long time. It is said, Gutsi, with our black economies, apparently money, with the one ethnic group where money doesn't circulate for a long time, and then we take it out. So I love that, Gutsi, that quota, and I hope we will reinforce that. We will ensure, Gutsi, there's that quota where money gets to circulate in the economy, and we all get to benefit from that. All right, thank you so much. Mr. Mapanga, I'll ask the same question I asked from Babane. Uguti, what are you doing? Go LED, but also nakoena. Nyafuna lokuti the women, the youth, the small, and the big. As long as you about PPP and all that, it would be nice to see like what initiatives do you have on that, and then I'll take my second round after you.
Thank you, Asibonge moderator, and once again, the Honorable Mayor of Manzini, and we also, in our presence, we also do have Mayor Yak Matsapa, and recognize again the councillors from both towns, and also all the guests which are here to listen to us. Well, yes, let me start by declaring, because your question was, what is it that we're doing as a city? Now, why we are here today, I think we are here, all of us, for an international trade fair. So I just want to give a little bit of a background on where it started. And then you will be in a position to understand what is Manzini, or what has been Manzini doing all along from the 1986. So when the country gained independence in 1986, the Municipal Council of Manzini, which at the time was known as the Town Board at the time, we initiated what you call a trade fair as a city. And at that time, what happened is the main reason was to stimulate a business and also culture. So labanye nje bathi ukuthi lapha eshowing, bekuthiwa kuseshowing. That was all done by the Municipal Council of Manzini to ensure ukuthi business in the country, but ideally we were focusing within the space of Manzini, but we were then of course joined by a number of different countries who came to participate, because there was an element of culture and also trade at that time. Then of course the history says it that a government saw that initiative, which it was a good one, and he took over. And today Silana through IPA, which used to be SIPA. So I think one needs to clearly indicate that as a city, we are a kashan when it comes to issues of trade. And for those who know Manzini, we are known as the hub of the country, because that is where trade is happening. And that is where all the transportation meets in Manzini. That is where business is done. Business Manzini. And also one can indicate we are, of course, the first capital city of Swaziland before we gave it to Manzini, to Mbabane. But we only gave to Mbabane the administrative part. But in terms of the trade, the business part, it still remains with the city of Manzini. Now, what have we been doing in the past, or probably what is it that we have as a city for small business people and also the large entrepreneurship businesses? I'll start with the small business sector. So I'm going to try to touch on the areas where she has not touched for the benefit of our audience. Now, we also as a city have tried doing what you call a community contracting, which was a program where we focused in the locals within the townships, where we said, let you guys do the business, the cleaning in your space, the grass cutting and also the drain cleaning, which is a program that came about to say we want to empower the locals in business, also we through creating employment, of course, which was one other aspect of it. So there was a lot of training of course, which is involved in that aspect. And I can't go without saying that there were a lot of challenges as well. Lots and lots of challenges in issues of pricing. Because people nabacabanga nje masipala bacabanga emathenda bese bacabanga imali. So lokho ke kwaresulta ukuthi sibuke the cost benefit analysis to say akhona lama challenges. There's a lot of training and partnership that we need to do with stakeholders uzama kufundisa abosomabhizinisi in issues of pricing, because the fact that we bring this business to them sifuna lokho ukuthi nabasebenza abaphinde bathathe le mali bayibuyise back to the municipality. I think so khulumile ke ngako umlangeni la. There is another aspect also of involving both the formal and the informal business aspects in the city, where we have created Lama forums. So these forums is where we engage each other constantly, where we do the updates, and also we get some information from them with the purposes of informing our future strategies as an institution. We spoke about flea markets. I think we do that very well in the city. But what we have done, because Lama flea markets we normally focus them within the CBD, we have then introduced what we call also township flea markets. So in Manzini, you will notice that now we also have these flea markets in townships. So we'll go to Fairview, come to call the community together, inform them about an event of a flea market where we want the community to come out, sell their wares, and also probably sell their second-hand goods which they do not need to their neighbors. Well, there are a lot of benefits around that as well. Well, what I can also say, the issue of training and development when it comes to business, we do it both for the informal and the formal business sector. But let me touch on the formal part, where we can clearly indicate that we have currently having a co-ops, where we have established a co-ops with the small business people, and we must say that they are doing very well, because such that they are even giving out donations to the community within the space of Manzini. And the idea was to close the small gaps that we have seen in the city. So maybe if I can share with one co-op is one that lethengisa noma leqophisa airtime. So we've got vendors la sengisa airtime in the city, and the question is by kupha kuphi. So then we opened a co-op to say no, lama vendors alaka Manzini akayiquphe le airtime kule co-op lena, and the co-op ito khona lokuthi ikhuleke ikhona nokuthi yenabe. Now I would get into the formal part. Nalapho ke ngeke ngithathe ke lokuningi. I think bengishilo ukuthi what is it that we are doing there? Lapho ke kakhulu we normally focus on policy issues, because when you deal with the business or the formal business part, umlingani ukhulume ngeku and creating an enabling environment as a city. Just to break it down, as a city we control and facilitate development. So now we are control or we are facilitate. There's a thin line in between. So what we do is Gundalama town planning scheme. So the town planning scheme, in as much as they control, they also do facilitate for development. So we need to make sure, as we are putting together those policies, we are enticing businesses to come in the city. So how? The zoning. So the moment we zone, it's business, we need to ensure we also push in infrastructure into that particular area. So just one example. You drive to Ngwane Park to Manzini, now we are in Ngwane Park, usebenzisa the Dr. Hind Road. The road now kumbula nje ekatheni ukuthi bowunjani bowonakele, but when the city put in the infrastructure after sesizonile sabona sekuqhamuka bo okay foods ke ngalana nyalo sekune square, and there's more development coming. So the zoning, and then once you bring in the infrastructure, you then start seeing businesses coming in, create the enabling environment. So there's also other programs that we are doing in terms of the inner city regeneration programs, where to say let's make sure we put in the appropriate infrastructure in the city for business to be able to establish. Maybe let me end there for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manzini. Hayi ngiphose ngasola mbabane ngelida. Inkinga emadolobha. Ngiyaxolisa mbabane. Abaqedzi. Okay, so now we kind of like out of time. Our time has been further cut because of a couple of challenges. So ngicela ukunika 2 more minutes. Just to wrap up, if there's some key information that we really love to put out there, especially the party technology, but e-governance. What are the ease of doing business? How are we facilitating that using the technology? But literally 2 minutes. Matolopa amla mahle nginthandzana kangaka. 2 minutes or less. Esicom, ndawucala ngawe ngoba ngiyadinga ukukhathile nakuqala. So 2 minutes and just to wrap up. But also when you end, at the end, do say how do people access this? Who do they call? How do they access onke lama initiatives amahle kangaka lesesikhulume nawo? Mayisandzaba.
Thank you. I think in my submission earlier on, I had indicated that there is something that maybe I left out that we would want to share. We are also a regulator of the broadcasting sector as well, and there are many issues there, and there are some opportunities. One of the ones that we picked was the limited or lack of local quality content. And we realized that one of the challenges was the inavailability of appropriate infrastructure for doing that. So we are in the final stages of the development of a local content hub or studio that will be accessible to all entrepreneurs and people that want to develop local content. And I think we are coming from a perspective that says the local market also is very small. So you also want to make sure that you develop content that is appealing to international markets. So we are finalizing that. I think by the end of this month, it should be up and running. We're finalizing the processes in terms of how it will be made accessible to the public. We normally share in terms of such information on the media or on our website in terms of what is available where and how. One of the other issues that we are aggressively pushing, which is what the question that you asked earlier on relating to internet access. I think one of our primary responsibilities is to ensure universal access and availability of these services. So we are aggressively pushing for that, trying to make sure that these services are available at the same quality to all Emaswati, regardless of where they are in the country. I think you have seen, and we are not doing this alone. We are doing this in partnership with stakeholders and some of the operators. You might have seen in one of the operators published that they now have nationwide 4G coverage, which means that the level of and the speed of internet access that you experience here, even if you go anywhere in the country, you will experience the same. But also to try and deal, because we also are aware of the socio-economic situation, we have also provided in, I think I can say in almost all the Tinkundla centers now, free internet access to the public, and everyone can go there as a start. If you are so in need of internet connectivity, either for your business or as a person, as an individual, you can go there. Per month, we give each Leswati about 15 gigs of internet for free, and that is 500 megabytes per day, and over 30 days that works out to that much. So there's quite a lot that we are trying to do. There's always an unfortunate situation, and which is probably in some other forum we can talk to. And we realize that with all of these free resources that we are giving, 100% of the traffic that goes through those access points in terms of the free Wi-Fi is on TikTok and all the other social networks. So those are some of the issues that we have and things that we really need to sit down and see how can we deal with this so that these resources that are made available are used to improve the lives of Emaswati. But as it is, we are seeing that, but we are trying to see how, we are trying to find ways to see how these resources can be monetized other than what we see at the moment. But there's quite a lot, and I think we can discuss that in other forums in terms of what you are doing.
Thank you so much, Mpotolozi. So, but I hope you'll stick around so people can come ask you questions. 2 minutes, Nkosi.
Thank you, Twala. Song nje, what I would want to say is to appreciate this forum of Manzini. It is really an eye-opener to the day-to-day work that we need, and we will respond in different ways. Guma programs at Fusema Dolopa, I realize that there is need for improvement, and there is still need for collaboration. RSTP, siyanicela decentralize yourself. What you've done for Tinkundla kuhle. Nemadolopa bese ayasala kanti ipoverty lelikhuni lelela madolobheni. Please do consider giving us these privileges as well, simadolopa, and I urge you to encroach the schools, kube program lenkulu kakhulu, so that the children get to appreciate the importance of the internet. Itabadzina nalo TikTok, nababona lokhu ngitatisha ngayo lento lena. Education is going digital as well. So as a country, we need those IT gurus from the school starting at a very lower level. And as a city, we are also having the IT project, my cameras, a security intervention part has so much benefits for businesses. It has the traffic count, so as a business person, if you decide to do anything with Mbabane, what's in it for you? A 5G capacity, RSTP, Sisebenda Nani, I'm glad about it. We are posting about it, and we are hoping we'll have responsive programs to align with this project that we've been blessed with, if I were to say. Thank you.
Nkosi, siyabonga Nkosi. Shothi ke namuhla mayisanza kusebenzela esikhom na RSTP konke. U-rich. Kwala.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Wrapping up also 2 things. When we want to assist businesses, digitalization, let's try and see the automation happening before it can just transform. Because what happens is now you go to a shop, you buy, but you don't even get a receipt. That is where it starts. Then immediately you start that automation, then you are able to start the journey of a digitalization. So Masipala come in, as you control and facilitate, make sure that shops in the city utilize some form of automation as they continue to conduct their business. That is where you can start. Then after that, we come in and develop a program of digital transformation countrywide. I will also urge all of us to maybe sit down, look at a digital transformation strategy that will be done nationwide. Than looks and Masipala in the digital transformation. Now I'm doing mine, I'm doing a business registry now in the office. So, it is not well coordinated. Masipala Mbabane has a registry. I might start off ngayo and build on it. So there are quite a number of things happening in isolation. We really need to consolidate that. Thank you.
I love this. Information sharing and collaboration. Mafang.
Thank you. Mhlawumbe, just to indicate what we are doing in the space of technology or of ICT, especially to stimulate business growth. There are a number of interventions that we have done as a city. I think rates, where we have used this platform here, USSD, where a person can probably go through his account, and then from there, akhona nokuthi phindze abhadale asebenzisa libhange lakhe noma ke asebenzisa bo mobile money or Swazi mobile as well. And also angakhona nekulocha ne complaint if ikhona asebenzisa leyo platform anytime akufuneka ukuthi kuze kube in 8 to 5. We have also done lenye app for Bosoma business national MI inspections. Usually what we used to do is we would go to a business site, do an inspection, go back to the office and prepare a report, then take it back to the person. So that was time consuming. So now we just go on site and do an inspection, and immediately we just press send, to your email. Now you can get your report. Let's actually how are you doing in that area or space. We are also doing one other area yekusabita ema building plans. I must indicate ukuthi building plans ideally in the past we used to take 4 weeks to scrutinize. So lokwafaka business ihlale 4 weeks. Now we only take about 2 to 5 days. You put your plan now, we're able to look at it in 5 days' time, you would have a response. So now we have also created an app so that you'll be able to even submit online as well. Then what we have also done, we have also installed CCTVs in the city, which are smart for purposes of kusita a business in issues of crime, and I think we'll be about traffic count and more than that as well. Probably for now, I can just end there. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much to my panelists, Mapanga and everyone. Thank you so much. Program Director, I need guidance. Do we still have Q&A time or we're out of time? 2 minutes. 20 minutes. 2 questions. Okay. 2 questions for everyone or each person. So we can all. More time, man. All right, now I'll stand up. What's the service I have doing? So 2 questions. We only have 2 questions. Manega segu pagamise your worship the mayor. Oh, cala when umflomzala. Oh, ngeke sicale siyenza wangakhuluma umflomzala. 2 questions. Yeah, okay. So, ngawuthatha mayor wami baba Mhlongo Phamsile. Aw, ngoba my hands are tied. Ngisho ngathi ngumphathi wami. Noma bengumphathi wami kade niyohlala ngumphathi wami. So, ngicela ukuthatha mayor ngithathe baba Mhlongo. Then one more person. How sengithathe 2 males? I need a female. Ah, yes. Then I'll take you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, moderator. It's not a question as such, it's a comment and a plea. I think 2 panelists actually highlighted the issue of young people being disengaged in doing business as they started. I think I just want to make a plea that young people should be given more chance, especially in this era of digitalization and e-business. It's a new culture as well. So as like any other, we just ask them to give more time to young people and also look to the factors, the key, how do they recruit these people into the programs as entrepreneurs? Let's reward the young people for the good that they do. For example, JA, we have got star students there that can actually be, actually monitored in their journey to be big entrepreneurs in the future. You've got enactors. All these are platforms where they can actually discover real entrepreneurs that can be tagged along and be mentored and be best. Let's not just hog young people outside the window, especially in the cities, there are many. If we do that, we might find ourselves bottlenecking ourselves in the sense of business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So Mayor is making a point, a submission. Real quick, Njomane Kamkapi.
Thank you, facilitator and panel. You've done a great job. Thank you so much for the presentation. First question is, what is being done to bring down the price of data? Because we're using because it's expensive. The data is expensive. So what are we doing as a country to bring it down?
Love it.
It's that irreasonable. Possibly some other countries have gone to the extent of subsidies. There are subsidies for the for the small businesses, for purposes of IT connectivity. About subsidies, because are we thinking about going that route or what? Secondly, connectivity. Lemaka is it was mobile again. Yet, yes, we then have to have kind of two, subscribe to Swazi Mobile and subscribe to MTN. because it is expensive. Because what is being done to make sure there is virtually 99% coverage for all areas in the country. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Njomane. We'll let Eskom take those two. Manje bayahlupha ngithi hulumende uyebantwini bathi buya Goli. I should take him uyalendasi kanti ngifuna kusonzela. So one last question and then we'll give it to Eskom to take that. We are really out of time. So a really short one, Eskom answers and we are done.
Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zetu Lamini from the Chamber of Commerce. My question is, I'm not sure who it's directed to, but I'm hoping the municipalities can help. Is there a coordination body that helps, I'm speaking as a young entrepreneur, that helps young entrepreneurs when it comes to capacitation, and basically a coordination body that will work with stakeholders in capacitating us in different ways? Because what happens is you find that, for example, JA comes through, teaches us on financial literacy, come through Youth Chamber teaching us on the same thing, come through someone else teaching us on the same thing. Is it possible for our municipalities to help us in coordinating? Because it doesn't really help much when a young entrepreneur gets to do one and the same thing. The business is not growing, I'm not getting capacitated in different aspects of the business management, business development, and growing my business as a whole. Is there a way for the municipalities to help us when it comes to that? Thank you.
Thank you, Zetu. I'll give that to SMME, actually. I'll give it to you. Why? Because government can, I think it's one of the duties, if I'm not mistaken, to make sure that there's collaboration, to coordinate all these efforts. Yeah, so I'll give it to you to answer that in Kwesi. But I'll start with Eskom. May Eskom please start by answering Jomane's questions, and then I'll give it to Mlangen, then we're done.
Thank you, moderator. And I think there were two questions that came from Babe Njomane, and the first one is the cost of data or internet in the country. I think I tried to touch on that one briefly earlier on. It's really a critical issue that we must deal with as a country in terms of seeing how it can be addressed. I think I've touched on one aspect in terms of how as ESCOM we are trying to deal with that in terms of trying to make sure that there are specific areas where such services can be provided for free, but as well, I think you have touched on a critical area in terms of providing subsidies, and we are in those conversations with the powers that be in terms of how can that be achieved, and coupling that question, that issue with the second question that you asked. That's where the whole issue of cost to communicate then comes in terms of the return on investment. You're making an example in terms of the network coverage for Eswatini Mobile versus MTN. We would know that Eswatini Mobile is a couple of years into the market, and MTN has got, I think, almost 25 years now in the market. They have taken that much time to have the capacity and the infrastructure that they have to provide the services that they have. So we have tried, there are obligations in place that have been put on Eswatini Mobile to, on an annual basis, make sure that they invest in infrastructure. So we are expecting that in a few years from now, they would have achieved coverage in all the areas in Eswatini. Now, the challenge is that it is a fact that the infrastructure that you put in rural communities is subsidized by the infrastructure that you have in town. Because in the rural communities per day, you would find that 2 or 3, 4, 5 people make calls on that infrastructure. That infrastructure has got a transmission cost, it has got power costs, and if you actually work it out, more than half the sites, they are not able, or infrastructure, you are not able to actually recover the operational costs just on electricity and maintenance costs on that. So we are cognizant of that in terms of the push that we are putting on the operators to that. But what we have as part of the Universal Service and Access Fund is that on an annual basis, the Commission actually builds up that infrastructure from scratch. So you would find that we, on average, depending on what we are doing on average between 10 and 20 sites per year, so that we expand, we continuously expand the deployment of infrastructure. But generally on the issue of cost, because the issue of cost is compared with the socio-economic being that we have in the country. And if you look at that, it is on the high side. And we have tried to bring, if you look at where we were 5 years ago and where we are now, I think it has been a number of levels in terms of magnitude, in terms of how the cost has come down. But we are continuing in terms of the engagements, in terms of considerations of what further reductions can be looked into to support the digital transformation agenda for the country.
All right. Thank you so much, Mdolo. Kwalakwan.
Thank you very much, Program Director. In terms of the collaboration with the business association, not just the youth alone, but they need to be registered according to the Companies Act, so that we can be able to recognize them and understand what are the objectives of interaction and also their scope. Then from there, working with the municipalities, we are able to then, under the LED program, channel them into whatever programs are available so that they can work together and also align, maybe sign those MOUs in terms of the scope of engagement and others. So that is how that collaboration occurs. Thank you.
I love it. You chamber, please talk to the SMME unit or MSME unit, SMME unit, and see how you can collaborate to help with that. I like that. So thank you so much to my panelists. Dolo, Kwala Kwala, Mhlumlangeni, Mapanga. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have more questions, you will find them outside. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moderator, thank you so much, Koli, for facilitating this session. And ngicela ukubonga kakhulu nakule panel yethu. I think we gained a lot. The only enemy here is the time, but we really gained a lot. It's something that we look forward to do more often so that we have more information from our partners here. Me not waste much time and just get to the next session, which I hope we'll try to manage the time. But this session is solely mainly for the entrepreneurs, the business, our business partners who are here today to share with us their products and also on how have they come up with these products. And also with young entrepreneurs, the business startups who will share with the young people on how did they come about with their own business startup that they've started. But we have one large enterprise which also will be sharing with us on how us as big businesses can we learn from what they are doing. So I will quickly start with our moderator for this session. Sorry, just a moment. I can't find my information here. Yes, may I introduce Ms. Sebenzile Dlamini, who will be moderating for us for this session of the entrepreneurs. Can you welcome her with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? I know it's about lunchtime now, but let's put the last energy. Yes, Ms. Sebenzile Dlamini, she's a social entrepreneur, if I can say that also. She's done great work in the entrepreneurial space, working with women in terms of entrepreneurial development. So where she tries to elevate or champion the women empowerment agenda on trade. So welcome, Ngozi. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Ms. Sebenzile has a master's degree in business economics in finance. So economics and finance. She has worked with RSTP before, but now she's running her own entities. So welcome, Ngozi, siyabonga kakhulu. And then I will also request then the panelists. We have invited the panelists from the Look Commission, the hospital down there that we used to know very much and visit a lot during the area of 2019, 2020. I don't know why. We used to frequent that place during that time. So there is Mr. Wandile Shabangu. I will request that we welcome him with a round of applause, who is also will be sharing us with the great work that has been done there in terms of technology and innovation at the Look Commission. Welcome, Mr. Mpele. We have also an entrepreneur, Mr. Werner Stucky. I hope I'm calling it okay, Werner. Werner is an entrepreneur. He brought in the country Journey Internet, which we are enjoying here today in this space. And he's also the founder of Staba, which is an AI entity that is trying to bring solution to businesses and companies. So thank you very much, Werner. He has been all over the world doing this type of innovations, Germany and other areas of the world. So we're hoping that he will share with us on how did they come about with these business ventures that they are doing, which are doing a great job. We have seen Jenny installing free Wi-Fi in Tingodla centers in the country. I think also they are working with Manzini to come up. I'm committing you now, Vena, to provide free Wi-Fi in one of our parks in the city. So we're happy to have you, Vena. Thank you very much. Then we have Mr. Mnotho Dlamini, a founder and CEO of a young business startup. The name of the business startup, I'm not sure if I will call it very well, Mnotho. Please forgive me. I think it's Innovazania. Is that okay? Or you'll correct us, Mnotho? Thank you so much. Welcome. Mnotho. Yes, Mnotho is a software developer. And also, he's the one that he was being referred to when they were talking about the school system. Shunifu. Yes. So welcome, guys, and thank you very much for joining us in this panel today. We're looking forward to you sharing with us on how did you come up with this solution, and also how can young people learn from you. And also want to hear from you as a beneficiary of the RSTP incubation program on how is it there. We hear that side things are not below zero from what we heard. So welcome, Ngozi. Then we have Mr. Sibusiso Pachis from Datamatics. Mr. Pachis, is he here? Oh, thank you, welcome. Yes, so Mr. Pachis has been there working on the space of technology solutions relating to the GIS industry or sector, where they are assisting local authorities and governments to collect data through the GIS technology. I think Mr. Pachis is on the finance part, on the company as a director, on the directorship part of Datamatics. So I think it's a very young panel, and also young from me, but also I think they will share us a different perspective from the one that we've been discussing of regulation, policies, and all the likes, so that they can tell us how are they getting it in dealing with us as government, as municipalities, and other public entities. So welcome very much. May I hand over to Sebenzile? Ngosi, you will start by just introducing yourself on what you do, and then you will just lead the session for us. I thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am an entrepreneur since 2021 and a founder of a not-for-profit organization since 2014. And when I left employment in 2022, I started doing community outreach work to empower the girl child in particular and women in rural communities who are unemployed, undereducated, under-resourced to take charge of their lives and start entrepreneurial projects and eventually businesses. So we have empowered 821 since 2022, and 365 of these girls and women now have businesses. Some of them are self-help projects and mostly in the informal sector. So our goal is to is to help them to transition into the formal economy. And today, actually, one of my team members is filing our cooperatives application, this will be an investment-focused cooperative because we've realized that it's really difficult to overcome the challenges faced by a lot of young and female entrepreneurs in Eswatini. You find a lot of us operating in the primary sectors, yet the money is in the value addition manufacturing spaces. And for us to tap into those opportunities, we need to work as a collective. So that's where we're headed. And then my business is a restaurant and a catering business. I hope to serve you next year when you have this function. I would like to thank our panelists. First of all, recognize the worshipful, the mayor, who has just stepped out, the councillors, the senior government officials, and all the management teams of the joint hosting organizations, the Municipal Council and the Royal Science and Technology Park, and the beautiful. I would like to give an opportunity to our panelists, starting with the Look Commission, known as the TLC, to talk about, what this business, I will say it's a business, because even if it is a not-for-profit, it should be, it should sustain itself. So we are very pleased as a nation, I must say, to have the Look Commission in the health ecosystem. You gained prominence during the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was due to the sterling services that you provided to Emaswati at the time, and would like to honor you for that. So please, could you describe the services that make the TLC an invaluable role player in the health industry in Eswatini, and also share your client estimates?
All right, thank you so much to our moderator, and I would like to also say all protocol observed. So to answer the questions, I think it's two questions. So in terms of the services that are being offered by the Look Commission uses a comprehensive approach to treat their patients, and also our style of operation is compassion. And just also to add to that, we don't just call our patients, but we call them VIPs, very important patients. So that speaks to how we also treat them when they come. I think those who have been to the Look Commission can also witness to that. So just to touch on the services that are offered by the Look Commission, we have got quite a number of services. We have got the general outpatient services, which includes STS, cervical cancer screening. We have eye clinic. We also just introduced dental services. There are quite a number of them. We also have specialized services like eye surgeries. So we do a number of surgeries at a certain given time to the people of Eswatini,
We have also seen during those services, people receiving treatment like corneal transplants. We have also orthopedic surgeries, where we also have specialists that come and assist our Emaswati. And we have also seen people receiving hip replacement. We do X-rays, also we do inpatient services, we do labor and delivery. There are quite a number of services that we offer at the Look Commission. And speaking to the number of patients that we do receive, last year in the year of 2023, we've seen a total of 300,000 outpatient visits. Yes.
Thank you so much. Vena and Mnofo, I will give you the same question, but you will respond to it with regard to your specific businesses. And with you, Vena, we're talking about Stabo today, not so much Jenny. So you are both running early stage startups at this stage, and it's great to share a stage with you because my passion for entrepreneurship really developed when I was working with startups at the Technology Park. I just want to give you an opportunity to share the unique selling points of your technologies with the audience and also share with us your target markets for those solutions.
Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, just maybe to start off with, maybe ask the audience who's used ChatGPT before. Show of hands. Okay, so I think more than talk about Stubber, I'd like to maybe just speak about sort of two things when it comes to technology in business. And I think the first thing is you need to identify when there's what is an evolving technology and a new technology. And I'd say like Jenny Internet in the previous businesses I was involved in, it's an evolving technology. It got invented and we keep improving, putting more masts up, making it easier, bringing down the costs of data, as I see everybody's very interested in that. But that's an evolving technology. And I think with ChatGPT and generative AI, it's a new technology, brand new technology. And whenever there's a new technology, there's an opportunity to leapfrog. And this has been done in telecoms as well. A lot of African countries, they never built a copper network. They never built a telephone copper network. Because by the time they started, mobile phones were there. So they saved all that cost, and they just went straight to mobile phones. And that's leapfrogging. So whenever you realize there's a new technology, it gives you the opportunity to skip building all the old stuff, jump straight to building with the new technology stuff, and you leapfrog everywhere else. And you also have an opportunity because you're not stuck in the old way of thinking. So with businesses, especially that starting out with technology, starting out on the digitization, if you're looking at ChatGPT, these type of tools, you've got a huge advantage. You can start from scratch using those tools to run your business. Use ChatGPT to draft complex emails for you. Copy and paste some emails in there and ask it opinions on the email, how you should respond to this person, how can I persuade this person, I need this and this and this. So generative AI is becoming a huge thing, and yeah, I think that's where Stubber's trying to help businesses, put ChatGPT to work in your business. So that's what we're doing.
Your Lordship, the Mayor. So you worship the Lordship. The Lordship, the Mayor, my representatives as RSTP, my representatives aga ESCOM, nathi sonke, siyanivusela endlini. Lami libito ngumnopho wesibongo kaDlamini, startup lesi incubated Royal Science and Technology Park. Igama le startup kuthiwa Innovazania. Bagama lamabili ke lawo, kuna innovation na Azania. Makuhlanganisa shothi innovation from Africa. So that's what Innovazania means. So Innovazania is the startup that is behind the platform lekuthiwa nguShunifu. Labanye babuta sosho kuthini lo Shunifu. It's a combination of two words, eSwahili, shule na ubunifu. So it means smart school. Okay, so mase nje Shunifu so ukuthi smart school. Bangakhi mhlambe laba ke baba interacta na ne platform yaka Shunifu whether umntana noma thishela la endlini. How many of us? You have, Mayor? Okay, all right. So Shunifu is a platform that has been built primarily to improve the operational efficiency or administrative efficiency of educational institutions. Kwesibili, Shunifu wakhelwe to boost the productivity of teachers. Fortunately enough, I mean, ngilaba ngithishela before, so I've seen how poor productivity, normal low productivity about thishela negatively affects the performance of learners. So because ukuthi mangabe thishela emva kwesikhathi akaspend isikhathi esiningi teaching labamfana, mhlawumbe ukhanze ukuthi uspend isikhathi esiningi lama tasks la administrative. Ukhanze ukuthi soba na less instructional time with the learners. So ukhanze labamfana lelwati seliba lincane mabubhale exam babhala with what content lencane because uthishala kabi nesikhathi enough bafundzisa. So that's why I built the platform look boost the productivity of thishela because the system automate much of these manual tedious processes kuze ukuthi lo thishela atoba na sufficient what teaching and learning atoba na sufficient instructional time. Kwesibili the platform has been built ku increase engagement batali in education yabamfana babo. Ukhanze ukuthi mangabe nje ufuna kwathi more about your child ukuthi perform kanjani umela kuze kuphela ithema ngithi. Guys, with Shunifu now you can be able on an everyday basis to be able to monitor how your child is performing. But umfana wakho akaya esikolweni system yakhona ukuthi kusendele SMS umfana wakho akede esikolweni. Ubhange class kuyamtshela ukuthi umfana wakho ubhange maths akayika maths namuhla. So basically the platform has been built loku improve lama learning outcomes etikola kangwane by ensuring ukuthi the institution is efficient, labo teacher laba productive nebatali ba engaged ku educational journey yabamfana babo. Basically, that is the whole motive behind the development of the Shunifu platform. And now it has actually scaled countrywide. It's the leading platform in the country where we have over 200 schools utilizing the platform. Even now, tertiary institutions are now migrating towards the platform. We've got Bopik, Change, and Abongwane all now migrating towards the platform after the impact that the platform has had in improving the learning outcomes in schools in the country.
Thank you so much, Minofo. So both you and Vena have spoken about how you are using technology to overcome the limited abilities of humans and also deliver at high speed. So we really appreciate that. Kinenza Lompov, over to you. Could you please describe Datamatics in terms of the business and the specific solutions that you are delivering in our economy?
Okay. Thank you, moderator. Protocol have been observed. I'm Sibusiso Pachis. I'm standing on behalf of Mr. Kinenza, is my co-partner. An apology for him. There is a tender we are doing for Esera, so we have to split. Thank you for the opportunity today. Maybe briefly talking about Datamatics. Datamatics is a Swazi-owned company. We are located at Sokamlilo building, third floor. It's where we are currently providing our services. And it's being owned by two young gentlemen that have vast experience in management, leadership, IT, and GIS. Mainly what we are doing as Datamatics, one, it's IT services. We provide them IT services by selling of computer hardware, software cartridges, and then we are doing MIS, management information system. So we do create a more customized system database, mainly la support a organization. And then we also develop website. We are also collaborating with Jenny, being the installer of their Wi-Fi. So I think now my clientele will be growing up. So we are also developing my website. Lastly, and what is unique with us, it's the GIS part. We are doing GIS, which is Geographic Information System. The GIS, it's about maps. We do create maps, Tingunda maps. We do create maps for schools, showing the spatial location, the exact location. I'm seeing a business at Manzini City Council. Now they are having an app, but the app does not show the spatial location, because you can just take the spatial location and then you can be able to fill the other details that is in that questionnaire. So to the GIS past, we also provide training. We have about 3 levels of training. There is the novice level, which is the introduction to GIS, how to collect data using questionnaire, because we are eliminating the use of collecting data using a MAPEP. So what we do, we just program the questionnaire to the gadgets. It's either it's a smartphone, you just go out with the smartphone, you collect the data, you come back, it's either you sync the data at the office or while you are at the field, you connect the data, sibes khona kuyisebenta ngala office. And then there's level 2. Level 2, we're talking about how to develop maps, how to create a geodatabase. And then level 3, you specialize. We're talking of both remote sensing, we are talking of both CAD, and datamatics was established in 2012. So yeah, there's a lot we have done, and kunengi lesafise just to assist the country in terms of technology. There's one big project we have done for Inmacom, which manages 3 countries, Lesotho, Mozambique, South Africa, and Swaziland. So yeah, maybe for now, thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much. I just got a notice that we have run out of time, so I was seeking clarity from Mr. Dlamini. But I will proceed while he's still trying to get a confirmation of that. To the TLC, congratulations on your recent awards. You just got 2 awards, one on the Technology Information Systems category and another being the Judges Spotlight Award. So could you please just explain what Luvelo Systems is?
All right, thank you. So Luvelo is a digital ecosystem which stands on 3 main pillars. We have supply chain, we have personnel applications, and we also have service delivery applications. So it is built on a low-code platform which enables it to be able to make changes quicker and as needed. So also to touch on the different applications, we've got about 30 different applications, and they all seamlessly integrate together. Just to make an example, when a doctor is using a service delivery application, through the integration in real time, they're able to see what medication is available in storage and also the quantity, so that when they are prescribing, they do not prescribe medication that is not available. So also we are using applications for clocking in and clocking out, and those we use facial recognition to make sure that people, when they are clocking in and out, they do not fake that. So we do not want people to be clocking in on behalf of another person. We also geo-fence the clocking stations, but also because we do have teams that go out to outreaches, we also allow those maybe to clock in remotely on the specific sites as long as they are scheduled to be in those sites. So that clocking in and out application also integrates with the scheduling application, because for one to be able to clock in and out, they must have an existing schedule. And also, as they publish the schedules, they send to each and every employee on their personal phones via an SMS. So basically, all these applications, just to say, they integrate together. And we also plug in the Luvelo to other hardwares, like for instance ATMs, and we also have a telehealth hub. I think those who have been to our stand here at the trade fair, they've seen how it works. And also in terms of accountability, the supply chain system, the way it works, it is able to track an item from the point where it is being procured up to a point where it is being dispatched, either to an employee or to a patient through the integration. So there is a lot actually that Luvelo Systems offers in terms of application, and also the good ability to integrate with other applications. And also just to mention another thing is that we are able to get real-time dashboards, like for instance, when our VIPs or patient comes for services, we also include those in the dashboard such that if someone is coming for dental services, the person who is responsible to manage that particular site at that moment, through the dashboard, they are able to see how many patients are queuing for dental services, so that if there is a backup that is needed in terms of support, then they can request for that. That way, even the patient, they are not delayed. So there's a lot that this application can do.
Wow, it's amazing to see how a health-related kind of business is actually creating a model for Eswatini's organization on how we can digitize not just management, but service delivery as well, and data management, I believe. So we're going to move on to Vena now. I will ask you 2 questions. Please respond to both at once. So the first one is that the transition from the founding stages of technology up to commercialization is not straightforward. And I presume everyone in this room who has ever attempted to create something will attest to this. There are definitely challenges, lessons, and obviously opportunities. That's why you're sitting here today. So I'd like to learn about the challenges, the lessons, and the opportunities that you have seen, and also then move on to give us some insight into what it takes for your type of technology to scale, especially in this small economy of Eswatini.
Yeah, so I think yeah, it's definitely very different running, starting a business and then trying to grow it sustainably. And I think the key concept is, are you working in the business or on the business? And so in the beginning, you don't have many clients, so you're working on the business. You're setting up processes and you're going out finding new business, speaking to people, marketing, those type of things. And then you get busy like working inside your own business. And you don't have any more time to grow it or to work, to automate things, because you're just too busy working in the business. So the thing that I always do is track my time spent and see how much time am I working, doing work for the business as basically an employee of the business, or how much time as I'm setting up automations, making things easier that the next time I do it, it's faster, takes less time. So it's that concept of in the business versus on the business is a very key concept to track, especially when you want to grow sustainably.
I hope everybody took a note, because that's really, really important. Even if you are just an employee in an organization, you need to know how much time you must spend doing the usual and also strategically thinking about what could get better in that business. So we're moving on to Mnofo right now. Mnofo, you are at the RSTP, and you have incubated, your business has been incubated there for some time. We'd just like to learn about what you do and how that ecosystem supports you to keep your entrepreneurial spirit growing. And also, what would you say to an upcoming entrepreneur in the room?
Thank you so much, ma'am. The Royal Science and Technology Park, okay, that is where I'm actually currently incubated. Shunifu would have not scaled to the degree it has scaled to without RSTP and the support that we have that we have received from RSTP. If ever you're an entrepreneur here and you want to scale your solution, or you want your solution to grow, I would highly recommend that institution. They've provided support. In my case, let me just make an example. all head teachers in the country, if for example, there was a need, they went to RSTP for that. So logo kwabenda baba nalokuthemba ukuthi cha imvula ephilayo unaku ula RSTP. So RSTP has played a very important role. So I cannot overemphasize the importance. So if you want to grow your enterprise, your tech enterprise, do go to RSTP. Bayasitana kakhulu. RSTP is an ecosystem. Actually, just good incubation. There are many units. Nabo data center and many nabo contact center. So you can be able also to take advantage, to leverage on those other units as well to grow your particular enterprise. So RSTP ngingasho with 100% confidence, we would see a ecosystem institution that can greatly assist Leo enterprise. Shunif is a testament of that. Without the Royal Science and Technology Park.
Okay, thank you so much, Mnofo. I hope all the upcoming entrepreneurs had that clearly, because most of the time people assume that they can only subscribe to organizations that give them financial support. Yet the non-monetary benefits that you get from such institutions also help to build your credibility and help you create a network that most young people don't have when they start off in their business journeys. I would now like to move on to Mr. Burgess. What is your experience with the uptake of ICTs in Eswatini, especially in the public sector, which is the largest sector of our economy, and the private sector as well? And if you have learned of any concerns, when you were submitting your bids, which is what you are preparing today, what are those concerns and what do you think our economy should do, or the decision makers should think of, and help the startups, especially in the ICT sector, to overcome?
Okay. Thank you, moderator. Most organizations, maybe what I can start with in the country, have realized the value of the use of ICT and importance of ICT solution in our daily business. And we have seen an increase in the use of ICT for the past years, though there is still a gap in other organizations in terms of the use of ICT. Some of the organizations, they are still not able to use the welcoming gadgets in terms of collecting data, because that's once you collect the data, you can just quickly download the data, analyze the data, and you can be able just to create a quick report. It's either for managers, for quick reporting. So it's something that is lacking to main organization, mainly in the country. So as Datamatics, or as mostly we are helping customers with a lot of IT solutions. We as a service provider, we are mainly focusing on our clients in terms of the ICT space, how to grow them. So while we are working with them on the technology part, as Datamatics, there is an in-house system we have developed, since mainly we sometimes collect goods in Joburg. So there is some tracking systems which track the goods from Joburg to the country. So we are looking forward, maybe even the countries or organization. I know it's not easy, especially when you are a startup or when you are a youth. I remember, I'm happy, kuna boss Swinil. When we were starting our business, I was a youth. I think I was 26, Nastala. So bosses that we needed were always there for us, supporting us, coaching us, because it's key when you are a young entrepreneur to have a mentor
So to have even people whom you can collaborate with, because now apply but experience it's in. But they are looking for 3 years experience in the industry. So yeah, it's become tough. So I once represented Mbabane, there was Umsebe Code, while I'm still EU, I think saya Mozambique, where Ngabane Nhlanhla, to have an experience to talk even to other young people, finding out how they working in that side. So those things, it does help. So not the patience. Other people, when they are starting a business, they want to see making a profit immediately. So that's the challenge with many young starters. So it's just to encourage them today. They should not look at that. Yeah, they should always have a focus. You can start a business today, and then you can make a profit after 10 years. So I was luckily, by 2016, 2017, I was being recognized as a techno-savvy, regional and national level, before being the winner of 2024.
That's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. We only have about 8 minutes now, so we have to manage this really well. I will give each one of you 2 minutes to simply describe, in your case, TLC, I would like you to address us on the challenges that you have faced in designing and also, testing and now rolling out Luvelo, because it is fantastic. So it looks like everything has been easy if you are not a part of the team that's developing and managing this kind of system. But we have developers in the room who wish to commercialize and run enterprises with the technologies that they are developing. So that could be really useful to them.
Thank you. For our Luvelo system, I think at an earlier stage, one challenge, because we're using a different platform than the one that we're currently using. So for that one, it couldn't handle like many users who are signed in simultaneously. It will start to develop some glitches and become slow. So now we find a solution where we use a different platform. And also just another factor which really helps us a lot to eliminate a lot of challenges is that during the development stage, we engage the users so that they can also have inputs. And in that way, they also feel like they are part of the developers. And as we produce now the product in production, they are like already familiar with it. And also when you have to do trainings, the trainings are really faster. We don't take the whole day to train users on a new application. I think on average, we normally take about 1.5 hours. I think even during COVID, when we were enrolling the ESOVAX system, we were having trainings for the whole nation because it was being used by the whole nation. So even those trainings, they were not taking more than a day. So it's just a few hours of training, and then the users are just able to use the system. So we can say we have already had a few challenges, but in terms of good results, we have really had a lot of good results. Also, just to add that even the fact that we are able to get live data, real-time data, live data, as they are using the system, it also helps like in decision making, because as we progress, we are able to reference from that data to know what adjustment needs to be made.
Thank you so much, and I hope those interested in developing will have a moment with you so that they can learn about the transition from one platform to another. Werner, please help us to understand how we can really utilize generative AI effectively, especially given the submission by Mr. Burgess, who's indicated that the uptake is not as fast as they would like to see. So we know that there are fears, there are myths and all those kinds of things, but we really need to move ahead as a country. So what would you say to us?
Yeah, I think the thing about generative AI is that it's got such a low barrier to entry because it's just conversation, it's just talking. And I don't know how many of you, the people that stuck up their hands that said they've used ChatGPT. Have you tried to speak with ChatGPT in Seswati? It speaks amazing. You can just say, I'm from Eswatini, I'd like to speak Seswati. And I don't think people realize the capabilities of these large language models. So it's the first system that humans have built that can just engage with you naturally, just like you would with somebody over a beer. And I think that's going to lower the access to technology for everyone, because it's just a chat. It's just speaking. And if you think, what have people been building over all the years of ICT? We've been building apps, we've been building websites, we've been building forms, online forms, all of this, because we couldn't speak to a computer. So we needed a form, we needed an app to click, and a menu system. And with ChatGPT, you can just speak. You don't need any of that anymore. So it will lower the access to technology to many more people, I think. The key thing I tell people is you need to spend time with these things. Start chatting to ChatGPT on a daily basis, because you need to start understanding that you can speak to this thing, it can respond to you, it can answer questions, it knows things about the world, you can learn stuff. There's in the previous sessions talking about access to training, access to getting skills on that. I don't think people realize how much skills is just for free on the internet. Yeah. YouTube, and then just chatting to ChatGPT. So a nice tip that I always tell people is you go into ChatGPT for a complex subject. Like, how does GPS work? And you say, ChatGPT, explain to me how GPS works as if I'm a 5-year-old. And it does an amazing job, and I use that all the time. Don't be scared like it's going to treat you like a child. It does such a good way of explaining stuff to people. So these are things people should be trying out, and if you're a business, there's immense value in just the basic free version. But if you want more and more accessible ones that you can speak, like, that's also very worth it for businesses to jump onto this new technology.
Thank you so much. I wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure to share the stage with you, and I wish you all the best. I would just like to say to the audience, please give the local startups a chance. Most of the time, decision makers present the not so good experiences with startups, young people and women sometimes. But if you have traveled around the world, especially the US, India, and some European countries, you must have figured that all these big companies that we are consuming products from, including Apple, got immense support from their own governments. They created the testing environment, and they invested monetary-wise, and they also do the marketing on their behalf. So that's all that we're asking for as entrepreneurs. Now I'm not a moderator, I'm an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sebe, for such great conversations and revelations on information communication technology. We really, really appreciate, ladies and gentlemen. May I also thank the panel for sharing such revealing information. I think all of us here today, we have to go and test ChatGPT and just start talking to the thing. Yes, so it will do much of the work for us. So thank you so much for that. We're hoping that you'll be getting contacts here before you leave, so that you can be able to come and present the different organizations that were here today. Thank you very much. Dear stakeholders, may we please come to the conclusion of this very exciting discussions that we had. We understand there are stakeholders who are already waiting outside for the venue. We will try to quickly squeeze, and we just want to thank you very much. And we're hoping there's another one that we are preparing, but that one will be strictly dealing with the SMEs and the small businesses within the city. So we will be having another one, we will announce, but we are looking forward to having also similar one of this size, but maybe early in the beginning of the year. So thank you very much for the attendance and the participation. I'm looking for someone who can just quickly pray for us, or I'll go back to the mayor. The mayor, his lordship. Can you please bless us before we leave this room? I think dinner is saved. I hope the team is there, will guide us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you. Shall we just pray? Ancient of Days, we want to thank you for such great deliberations. We thank you for the transformative power of knowledge.